Hey guys, welcome in. Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to today. We're going to start with the big news last night. Big news I'm amazed that it like it used to be Republican primaries were like news in Republican circles. And now anything that involves Trump, it's all national news. And it was amazing to me that this U.S. House race, one guy out of 435 sort of just seemed to take over the national media the past week, and that was the Thomas Massie race in Kentucky. And as most of you, I'm sure, know, Thomas Massie lost last night his reelection bid. He was defeated pretty soundly, lost by, the count is not final, but over 10,000 votes by 55% to 45%. So it was a pretty resounding victory for the Trump-endorsed candidate. And I want to talk today about a couple of things, because the Massie defeat sort of seems like we have entered a new frontier, for lack of a better term, that we're in a whole new world. And it feels like we flipped the script. I mean, this was the closing chapter of flipping the script from, hey, Trump was cool because he went after the establishment people that we all hated, which is why we liked Trump, to now the world is whoever Trump doesn't like because you don't do what he wants all the time, he goes after you. And the establishment people that we thought it was cool he went after 10 years ago because nobody else would, now he likes them because they do what he wants. And I just feel like I don't know. And I want to examine this with you guys today. And this is the great thing about this show is I'm just going to start talking and we'll see where it goes. I could go an hour in this opening segment. I go 5 minutes, right? By the way, yesterday, guys, and I was thinking about like how am I going to put the show together? A delivery guy drove through my garage door. Yeah, no, I didn't say it. A delivery guy, you know, one of these people like drops off a package at your house. He drove through my garage door. Yeah, that's how I spent my afternoon. this guy, I've got the security cameras and stuff, and go back, and my wife's home, right? And she calls me. And my wife, never calls me during the day because she knows I'm working. And anytime my wife calls me, and it's not because it's my wife, it's because I know there's something wrong. It's a feeling of dread whenever I see her phone call during the day because she knows, hey, I'm usually home by 1, 2 o'clock at the latest. She'll be able to talk to me. She works from home. And I see the phone ring, and I was going to a meeting. I'm like, oh, no. And I answer the phone, and she goes, a delivery guy drove through our garage door. I said, what? The guy drove through our garage door, Rob. Well, first thing, are you okay? Yes. How about your car, which is in the garage? Is that okay? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to get pissed now that I know you're okay and the car wasn't totaled. And I said, what the hell happened? So, we got the security cameras and stuff and go back and look at it. And it's like one of those videos. And I was watching this video going, if it weren't my house, I would watch this on YouTube and chuckle at it. But of course, it is my house, so it's not freaking funny at all. This idiot pulls up in the driveway, which the delivery people are not supposed to do for exactly this reason. But this guy drives up in the driveway. I can see, it's like the train wreck is going to happen, right? The train wreck is going to happen. And the guy, for some unknown reason, while the car is still moving, or I guess he thought it was stopped because he was going up the driveway, gets out of the car and gets the package and starts walking up to my front door. And I can see in real time this car moving and moving and moving, and then smash. It just plowed through my garage door. So that's how I spent most of the rest of my day yesterday. And I didn't have the time during the day like I normally do to put into getting the template ready. And I thought, you know what? We'll just speak from the heart for the most part today, especially as it relates to what happened with Massie and the Republican Party and all the stuff. And, so no matter what happened to you yesterday, there's a good chance I had a worse day than you. But hey, that's why other people in this case have insurance, right? And thankfully, the company he was working for was a very large distributor of goods and services across the fruited plain. And we quickly found out that, one, there was no structural damage to my home, which was very good and very helpful. And two, this is a large company that has plenty of insurance to fix the problem. By the way, my other favorite thing now is, I haven't even made it home yet. So she calls me. I'm going home. I get a text because she asked, what do I do? And I said, well, you got to call the police. You got to file a report. You got to make sure there's a record of all of this. Make sure this guy, gets held to account, right, is the biggest thing. And so she, calls police. Police come out to take a report. Fire department comes out, too. To their credit, they were very timely, both the police and the fire. And thank you for that. They look at the house. Hey, there's no structural damage. Well, because it ends up on the scanner, a buddy of mine who has family members who work with the police department, I haven't made it home yet because, it's the address, whatever. Hey, are you all right? I was like, what? Well, yeah, it's on the scanner. And then, people on the internet, because there's these websites, anytime, these county people, which I've watched them before, you people follow them. Hey, in the county, here's where the police are going, here's what they're doing. And then, they put this up, and it's I forget how the authorities worded it as they're coming out. Obviously, my wife had made sure to let everybody know, hey, everybody's fine. There's, it's not like a 911 emergency. Please get out here as soon as you can because we need to take a report on this. But, everybody's okay. And I think they labeled us structural collapse or something. And so they post it up. And, of course, there are all these people out there, right, because they'll put the address or whatever. And then people figure out whose house it is. And then it's a big mystery yesterday about what structural collapse happened. Was Rob inside? I know some people were hoping the roof caved in and I was inside. I know. I just know people are out there hoping, hey, I hope that roof collapsed and Rob was inside. But no, unfortunately for you, it's not able to, at least to some extent, put the garage door back together until the people can come out and get it permanently replaced. So that's how I start my day. So anyway, a lot of this just could come from the heart today.
How would you rate your delivery?
How would I rate my delivery? A 0. Is that how they? Look, I don't even know how it works. I don't order anything off the internet. Nothing coming to that house is ever mine off the internet. That's what I told my wife afterwards. I said, whatever it was, I hope it was worth it. And you can see the guy. It looks like he gives her the stuff, to his credit. At least that's what it looked like on the thing. I hope it was worth it. That didn't go over very well. But let's get into what happened yesterday in Kentucky and in some of the other states. By the way, if you guys have a bad delivery experience, now would be a great time for you to throw that out in the YouTube chat. What's your worst delivery guy experience? Oh, and have you ever had somebody run into your house with their car? Let us know in the YouTube chat. We have a great YouTube chat community, guys. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, that's all you have to do in order to be in there and chat. We've got hundreds and hundreds of people every single day who just have great conversations. The stuff we talk about on here, stuff outside of here. Subscribe to our channel, and then you can be a part of the YouTube chat. So yesterday, as we said, Thomas Massie goes down. It wasn't close. It was 55-45 was the final total. According to The Hill, there was almost $35 million. $35 million spent in this race. Most of this money, $16.4 million, I believe was the total, came from Trump and his allies via the super PACs. There's no doubt about it. Donald Trump took down Thomas Massie. No doubt. Absolutely none. Donald Trump and his vendetta, revenge tour, whatever, gets another win over Thomas Massie. And I want to read you this quote. It was in the article in The Hill from Donald Trump's, or the White House's communications director. Quote, "Do not ever doubt President Trump and his political power. F around, find out." That was the quote from the White House spokesperson. F around and find out. And my question to that was, what did Thomas Massie F around with? Like, when you think of Thomas Massie's positions, and we talked about this at length the other day, what was he? He's anti-tax. He's anti-debt. He's anti-inflation. He's pro-transparency. He's pro-government should pay their bills, not leave it to future generations. He was pro-victim in the Jeffrey Epstein case. He was pro-public in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The public has more information, infinitely more information, than they would have had otherwise because of Thomas Massie. How is any of that, many of those things which are in direct alliance with the espoused platform of the Republican Party, how is any of that effing around? And what did we as a public find out? Like, what was Thomas Massie's great sin? This is what no one wants to answer. Well, he was difficult. Well, he wasn't a team player. Well, he defied the president. Well, the oath of office isn't to the president. You're not elected to serve the president. You're elected to do what you think is best and right for the country and for the citizens you represent. And I kept coming back to that quote, F around and find out. Thomas Massie wasn't some super liberal. Thomas Massie wasn't some big spender or, I guess he teamed up with the Democrats to the extent on things like Epstein. I guess he voted against the big, beautiful bill because of all the debt, all the spending, all the unaccountable government. And again, I've talked with you guys about this. I've talked to numerous people, accountants, people in the financial world. I had a conversation over the weekend with the guy works for a very large financial institution in this country. And I asked him, I said, did this big, beautiful bill, is it like helping the people you do business with? And he looked right at me and he goes, that bill helped the very tippy top of the food chain. He said, my rank and file clientele, nothing. Which matches up with exactly what my accountant and other accountants and financial people have told me. In certain industries, very select industries, regular people are going to get a benefit. Most people, nothing. Most people, status quo. The tippy top people, great. Like when you keep hearing this from all these separate people who, by the way, don't know each other. And they're all Republicans, these people that I've been talking to. These are not like radical left people. Then I'm going to take their word for it that, hey, this bill didn't really help a lot of Americans. Didn't really enhance, give benefit, extra benefit to a whole lot of Americans. It did some, there's no doubt, to some extent. But the average regular person, no. The tippy top people, yes. Thomas Massie voted against that. I guess that would make him voting with the Democrats. Is that effing around? To me, that's what a representative should be doing. And so, I'm thinking about this, and then I keep coming back to that quote. And I realize we are now in an era of complete subserviency. That's what the Republican Party is. And I suppose if you love Trump, you're thrilled about that, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of weird to me that we're in a world where your political career inside the Republican Party is based on complete subserviency, where anything less than absolutely 100% submission and voting fealty, you'll be taken out? Is that what the Republican Party is and is proud of now? Look, one of the things that is different now, because there was always always has been with both parties, some level of deference to the choices of the president, to the priorities of the president. It doesn't mean that every rep or senator was in lockstep with the president. Happens all the time where that doesn't work out. But by and large, there is always some level of deference to the president, whatever party you're in. But I never remember complete submission, a subserviency, fealty like is being demanded now. And one of the things that is very different about Trump is because of his ability to attract a crowd, because of his ability to draw attention, because of his ability to have influence, like he just consumes everything he is involved in, for better or worse, he has attracted a large group of people who, some of them, I think maybe are naive to it, but many of them are doing it intentionally. They want to be stars in whatever orbit they're in. A lot of these people, they want to be internet influencers. A lot of these people, they want to elevate inside the political orbit, for lack of a better term. And they recognize that the fastest way to do that is it's essentially like proving your worth. Show us what you can do. in some strange ways, it's almost like joining the mafia, right? Like there's layers to it. There's ways to elevate. And what you're seeing in these primaries is, okay, you have a president who demands these things being the complete subserviency. But then you have all of these people who desire something for themselves, who have recognized, because of Trump's intense power and influence over a group of people, and many of them now are in the digital or internet media orbit, that not only do you get the president bringing his wrath, but then you bring all of these other people into the equation who will go out, who will knock on doors, who will do internet badgering. I don't know what the word is on it. But now any person that Trump deems an undesirable, and Trump's deeming of the undesirable is based on whether they always do what he wants. Look at Lauren Boebert, guys. Don't take my word for it. Lauren Boebert is one of the most loyal, reliable Trump supporters and voters in the entire U.S. Congress. She has been a cheerleader through and through. She's been a partner, everything. She said, hey, I love Trump. Also like Massie. Massie's been good for our country. So, hey, we're America. We're free people. We should have reasonable disagreements. And I love Trump, and I'm going to keep fighting for Trump. I'm going to go out here and campaign for my friend who I think's been good for the country. Nothing bad about Trump. Even the endorsement of Massie was all about how great Trump is. What did he do? He turned on her. He said, I don't care that I've endorsed her. If someone wants to primary her or someone wants to run against her, let me know. I'll endorse you. Guys, if we're being honest with ourselves, that's horrible. That's awful. I mean, it's manipulative. It's abusive. Like, if you ever think for yourself, like imagine if you had a friend or a boss or whatever who was like, if you ever think for yourself, we're done. Like, you've done all these great things for me. You've let me into your home. We go places together. We do things together. You've supported my business. But if you ever go against me on anything, you're done. Would you want to be friends with that person? Would you want to hang out with that person? Would you want to help that person? Guys, that feels like that's where we are with the Republican Party, where a whole bunch of people have recognized my own personal key to elevation is getting around Trump no matter what it is. And so in the case of Massie, you saw collectively close to $20 million, more than $20 million, spent to get this guy out of Congress. So the first question I have is, what did that accomplish? Like, for all the people celebrating Massie leaving, what did you win? Over the last year and a half, what vote did Massie cast as the deciding vote that you would say, this didn't work out the way Trump wanted it to, other than Epstein? In what cases was Massie the deciding vote? You go, my God, the Republic has tanked because of it. I mean, if you want to say loud and proud, I'm mad that information about Epstein got released, go ahead. That's the only major thing that I can think of that Massie went against Trump on, and Trump didn't get his way. Massie voted against the bill, the spending bill, the big, beautiful bill. It still passed. It's like we're always in victim mentality with Trump and the Republicans. They control everything. They have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency, they have the Supreme Court. You're in charge. This is the question I ask to every person who's like, thank God they got rid of Massie. What did you win last night? What was the big score for you? What was the big victory for you? And do you honestly feel good about being a part of a party, being in a world where Thomas Massie is public enemy number one and Lindsey Graham is a hero? Really, I mean, that's where we're at now. That's the reality check everyone should be doing. That's the thing everyone should be asking themselves. Do you really feel good about the position of a party in which Thomas Massie became public enemy number one and Lindsey Graham is a hero? Because all we hear now is how great Lindsey Graham is. All the spending, sending other people's kids to fight and die in foreign lands, the irresponsible government, the printing of money, the aligning all the years and times Lindsey Graham stabbed Republicans in the back, lined up with the Democrats. That's the Republican Party now. Lindsey Graham is a hero. Thomas Massie is public enemy number one. And again, I come back to, in the past year and a half, what has Trump not gotten that he wanted that Massie caused him to not get the thing? Other than the Epstein files to be released. And why would any reasonable person be mad that that happened when Trump literally campaigned on it? I said this last night before the votes were tallied in the Massie race, and the more I think about it, the more I think it's accurate, and it's going to lead us into our next segment. I think the best thing for our country right now, and for the Republican Party, is for as many Trump-endorsed candidates in Republican primaries as possible to win. And by the way, isn't it bizarre? Like, they act like all of these Trump victories or these Trump-endorsed candidates winning, like they've somehow won the election. Like, the media always doubts Trump and he proves them wrong again. What media doubted that Trump could win in Republican primaries? Wouldn't that be weird if the president of the United States couldn't deliver in Republican primaries? Like, what would that say if the president, guys, he's the president. He's the most powerful man in the world. If the most powerful man in the world can't deliver in primaries of his own party, what would that say about him? I don't think most people have doubted collectively that Trump can and should be able to deliver, just like Bush could deliver, or you would expect them to deliver, or Obama was able to deliver. But that's in their primaries. We're talking about primaries right now. Ain't nobody won anything this fall. I think this, and I really believe this. I was thinking about this a lot last night and yesterday afternoon as I was sitting there fuming and putting my garage door back together to some level of decency and structure. The best thing for our country is for all of these Trump-endorsed candidates to win in the congressional and Senate primaries. Because then this fall, we get a real idea of what the country actually thinks about Trump. Because it also means Trump will be out more campaigning for these people. And that will bring us to our next segment, which is I really believe, it seems like, there's two alternate universes and they're moving at their own, like they're moving parallel to each other. And at some point, like it's like two trains that are moving on separate tracks, and then somebody's going to move the track. And these two universes in which nobody knows, that the people on one train don't know the other train exists, except the people on the other train know the one train exists. And at some point, they're going to move those tracks to where those two trains are going to collide together. And that's what I want to talk about when we come back. Because these two parallel universes, they're happening at the same time, and one of the trains appears totally immune or unaware that the other train exists. And they're on a collision course. And so I want to talk about that here in just a moment. But first, hey, if you guys are thinking about where to go for dinner this weekend, Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil. That's the place. Look, it's a little bit of a drive down 40, but it's totally worth it. It's an amazing thing. It's got the scenic waterfront view, outdoor seating, perfect evening away where you can relax, breathe, enjoy the outdoors, and a made-from-scratch meal. Or as they like to call it at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, Hoosier Grub. Now, you guys can see the menu online. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. Tons of amazing choices. But they would suggest the Hoosier breaded tenderloin, which they think may be the best in the state. And while you're there, you got to stay and try out one of their handmade pies for dessert. Down-home food made with love, the restaurant literally in the home of the owners. That's how Hoosier hospitality it is. Andy and Jody, they're awesome. So here's how it works. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, open Friday for dinner, Saturday for dinner, Sunday for brunch buffet. Make your reservation today. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro or call them 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I don't ever remember this happening, but it's like it's playing out in real time, and I'm going to be fascinated to see how this ends up. I feel like in the election of 2026, there are two parallel universes moving at the same time, and they're about to hit each other. And I'm not sure one side is ready for that. We will talk about that when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button if you haven't had a chance to today. That really helps us out. Thank you so much for doing that. Share the feed, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're at. A little share. Just, hey, here's the Rob Kendall Show. He's talking about things that other people aren't talking about. That really helps us out as well. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. We call it like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. That's how you guys can help us continue to grow. A couple of other housekeeping items, then we will get back to, we talk about these like two parallel universes that are happening with the electorate. But before we do that, if you haven't been over to robkendallshow.com yet, do us a favor, do that. Couple things there. Number one, you can get your tickets to the live show. We're doing a live one-man show on Saturday, June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. We're going to have a rockin' great time. It's a tribute to you guys. It's a way to say thank you for helping us grow this show, helping us get the word out about this show. You guys have been amazing to us. We are in week 12 of this program, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So it's a way to say thank you. We're putting together a live show. Get your tickets. The link is right there at the top of the page, robkendallshow.com. robkendallshow.com. And speaking at Rob Kendall Show, we've also got our support button up there. If you like what we do, if you like our independent commentary and analysis and taking on topics that other people can't or won't in ways that other people can't or won't, consider hitting that support button. We appreciate everybody. Hundreds of people have been a part of that with us throughout our first 12 weeks. All right, before we get back to talking about Massie's election and the Republican electorate and where they're at and what they're feeling. And like, look, I am going to be fascinated about how the fall elections play out. First, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Things like road salts, environmental buildup, dirt, mold, they can all cause big damage to your driveway, to your sidewalk, to your patio, and it makes your house, well, quite frankly, look like a dump. Don't be the dump on your street or block. Call our friends at Seal Now, the clean, seal, and stain professionals. Damon, the owner, he's a great guy, huge supporter of our show. They do it all. And they do more than just concrete. All the outdoor concrete projects, they're your guys. But they also do wood, decks, fences, pergolas, you name it. Any outdoor wood or concrete structure, Seal Now can bring it back to life. Check out their work, see what they've done for other people, and how they might be able to do that for you at sealnow.com. SEALNOW.com. Call today for a free estimate. 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002. And when you do schedule that totally free estimate, tell them you heard about them on the Rob Kendall Show, and they're going to take 20% off any long-term ceiling project. 317-548-2002. SealNow.com. All right, so one of the things that is very interesting to me, and we talked about last segment about how the Republican Party has seemingly entered, at least from a primary voting standpoint, they have reached an era where subserviency to Trump, even if there's no apparent win, like there's no gain, there's no benefit, is where the majority of the Republican primary electorate is at. Now, look, we have to be specific with this. The Republican primary electorate is not the American public. The same way as the Democrat primary electorate is not the American public. And what happens is, and it's part of our broken system, is the parties nominate based on their own sort of nonsensical changes by the year standard. And then the people in the middle who decide the elections have to make a choice between the people that the parties put forward. Right? Like, think back. Like, a great example of this was 2010. everybody's mad about Obamacare, right? Everybody's pissed off about Obamacare. And you're like, hey, home run year for the Republicans, right? You could just put a broom up and they should be able to win. And in the House of Representatives, they did. No, I think they won like 62 seats. But the Republicans lost that same year, and nobody in, history is an interesting thing about what people remember or don't. The Republicans picked a whole bunch of squirrels in their Senate races. And they, in many ways, did it again in 2012. And what that got the Republicans is people who could not connect with the people who decide the elections. Like the Republicans said in 2010, it's easier to get away with it in the House races because it's very hard for media or opposition or whatever to cover 435 House races. There's some big ones they get into, but it's very hard outside of local media to effectively and intensely cover 435 U.S. House races. But if you guys remember in 2010, there were about 4 or 5 winnable Senate races that Republicans lost. And it was because of their candidate choice. Look, the reality is, in some of these states, and the states have changed dramatically in 15 or 16 years, so they're not even the same states with the same makeups anymore. But we'll just sort of pick a current state that is still kind of a swing state. The Republican that you're going to be able to get in a Pennsylvania, and I'm picking a Pennsylvania because it's a swing state, or Maine, because that's a swing state, and in the case of Maine, we'll get to Maine in a second because they have a Republican up for re-election. You're not going to get the same sort of Republican across the finish line as you could in, say, Alabama. You can be hard right. Now, not totally, as Roy Moore found out. There is a level to which the public will tolerate in terms of your personal behavior, your squirreliness. But in terms of the politics, Roy Moore didn't lose because of his politics. He lost because people were like, this guy is an insane shyster lunatic. And even in Alabama, we going blue, baby. So there is a limit. But my point is, your candidates have to fit in terms of temperament, in terms of substance, and most importantly, in terms of leadership and the direction they want the country to go. They have to mirror the electorate. If they don't, you're not going to win. And one of the things that I think is interesting right now is in the era of absolutism that Trump demands, and the absolutism is not around a specific policy or an ideological viewpoint. It's around absolutism in terms of subservience to Trump. The Republican primary electorate. Now, again, you have to put these into 5 boxes, right? Okay, there's 5 boxes when we talk about voters. There are Republican primary voters. There are Republicans. There are Democrat primary voters. There are Democrats. And then there are people in the middle, the kind of independents. They're all in their own little box, and they all behave and respond and vote differently. The Republican primary voter is completely different from a rank-and-file Republican. The same way as the Democrat primary voter is often completely different from sort of a rank-and-file generic Democrat. And you will see in certain elections, Republicans cross over the sort of generic Republican. People can kind of consider themselves Republican, cross over and vote occasionally for Democrats, and you'll see Democrats occasionally cross over and vote for Republicans. That's usually actually how the presidential election gets decided. And then there's this ever-shrinking box in the middle, the independents, who are always up for grabs. And so what's fascinating to me is in a world where every poll that comes out, every poll, guys, whether it's done by Republican pollsters like Rasmussen or what's perceived as the more liberal outlets, often are the more liberal outlets, CBS, NBC, whoever, they're all, to varying degrees, telling us the exact same thing. Even Rasmussen, who's the most friendly pollster to Trump, and we talked about this, I think it was late last week, has Trump 14 points underwater. Even the most friendly pollster to Trump over the years has him 14 points underwater. And it's, depending on what poll you look at, usually somewhere between minus 14 and minus 20. High negatives. Trump's approval ratings are consistently now in the upper 30s. The American public, so when we take those 5 boxes, right? Republican primary voters, Republicans, independents, Democrats, Democrat primary voters, if we're moving on the scale from reddest to bluest. They all participate in the national polling, which is how we decide elections, right? Everybody who is registered has the opportunity to vote. The polling of the 5 boxes, from the reliable Trump pollster to the mainstream media, all shows Trump and his policies dramatically underwater. And if you look at them as a graph, right, you see it over the past year and a half, it just keeps going down. Like, here's where it started. The old, here's how it started, here's how it's going, right? It's going down. And so the public is at the very least saying we have major concerns about Trump and we're not all in it on Trump. That's not me, guys. That's one public poll after another. And yet the Republican primary electorate keeps not only saying, give me more of that, they are now punishing any person who raises their hand and goes, yeah, there's some things out there that the public appears very unhappy with. We ought to address those. And that means we probably got to get a little tough with the president, which, by the way, that's actually the, by definition, job of the Congress, is to be a check and balance on the president. I think that's one of the things that bothers me most about the fealty to Trump. And it does with any president, regardless of party. The job of the Congress is to be a check and a balance on the president, to hold them at bay, to hold them in line, to make sure everything they're doing is on the up and up. It's in line with the Constitution, following the law, all of these things. It's the beauty of the system that our founders set up, in which there are 3 they're supposed to be very separate branches of our government, and they're all keeping an eye on everyone else. Not one-on-one, but 3. It's a triangle. All of them moving, right? Keeping an eye on each other. And so I'm thinking about a Republican Party in which the public at large, the 5 boxes, are saying time and again, and in a more emphatic voice, it seems with every opinion poll that comes out, hey, we don't like a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. We don't like a lot of the things that the president is doing right now. And yet, because the Republican primary voter is such a narrowed group of people, and those people in the Republican primary who consistently vote are more often than not huge supporters of the president, we keep seeing the politicians and the candidates moving more and more into Trump absolutism. And then the contest becomes not who has the best ideas, not who's governed the best, not who will deliver the most for the people of the district or the state or our country. It becomes, this person wronged Trump. You must vote against them. This person was not a proper team player. This person effed around, and now they're going to find out. And I'm thinking of this like two trains going down the track. One train is the Republican primary voter in 2026. And one train is the general public, the people who will be the general election voters. And you think about these trains and they're moving. And the wild thing is, the train that the general election voter is on is a much bigger train than the train the Republican primary voter is on. And in this bizarre world where these two trains are moving at the same time, or one train is much bigger than the Republican primary voter train, the general election voter not only is in a much bigger train, but they can see the Republican primary voter train. They know that train is there. In the world we're living in now, in which poll after poll after poll shows on including the most key topics to Trump's actual election in 24, the public is turning against Trump and his policies. It's as though based on the actions of the Republican primary voter, in which it's just more Trump, more Trump, more Trump all the time, it's like they can't see this other giant train out there. And these two trains moving at the same time are going to, in November, run into each other. This happens every year with our elections, in which the primary voter train runs into the general election voter train. And right now, it seems like the Republican primary train, like the general election voter train, is the bigger train. It's going to get its way. It's going to win the collision. But the Republican primary voter is just like, I don't know if naive or immune or just holding their hands over their eyes going, nuh-uh, can't see me. It's like John Cena. You can't see me. And I don't understand how this could be anything but a bloodbath this fall. Even as bad as the Democrats are. Look, the Democrats are heinous. They're heinous. They're awful. But the public doesn't vote the way the primary voter votes. They're not as into it. They're not as into it. They don't research the candidates. They don't dig into stuff. They vote how they feel in the moment that it's time to go vote. They don't have a love affair with Trump, just like they didn't have a love affair with Biden, just like they didn't have a love affair with Trump the first time. Very few presidents have ever actually garnered a connection with the American public by which there is an emotional connection to them to where they will vote for them out of some sense of obligation. I'm talking about most Americans. Clearly, Trump has a huge swath of voters in the Republican Party that are absolutely emotionally attached to him. The only voters that I can think of in my life that had a literally like emotional connection to the candidate and voted accordingly were Ronald Reagan in 1984. With Morning Again in America, there was clearly, and he won 49 states, there was an emotional connection to the symbolism, to the ideas, to the things that he was talking about. And Obama in 08. And Obama didn't quite have a Reagan landslide, but Obama won so many states, he won Indiana. That's it. Other than that, in my lifetime, everything else is just sort of, we choose our presidents. in the moment, how we're feeling about the country. We judge our presidents on how we're feeling about the country, and people vote accordingly. And so, unless we're going to ignore every historical piece of data we have seen on elections in American history, certainly in the past 40 years, if we want to use that as our barometer, when the president is not liked by the party, by the public at large, or has low approval ratings by the public at large, they vote for the other party. That's what we do in this country. People were tired of Obama and the Democrats. They took a flyer on Trump. People got sick of Trump. By 2018, they put the Democrats in charge of the House. People got really sick of Trump and the COVID and everything. By 2020, they went with Biden. People were fed up with Biden to the point where they dumped Biden. They saw Kamala like, this woman's an even bigger idiot than Biden. They went with Trump again. People went with Obama in 2008. They had the emotional connection. They quickly figured out by 2010, this guy's a con man, shyster, grifter like the rest of them. They put the Republicans back in charge. People would have gone with the Republican for president in 2012 if they had nominated anybody with any sort of personality or ability to connect to regular people. Instead, the Republicans, as they usually do, are like, nah. We'll snatch that defeat from the jaws of victory. Here, we'll give you Romney. What? People didn't like Romney? Who saw that one coming? And so I'm watching this with great interest about how the Republican Party primary voter in this little train is going forward in this pattern, in this motion, in this behavior, in these choices, and they're celebrating doing more and more and more of it, like getting rid of Thomas Massie. Ha, he's gone. We got another Trump guy in there. Oh, okay. Well, you've had Trump in charge of everything for a year and a half, so what did Massie stop? Ha, we got rid of him. There's another Trump guy in there. Look at us roll. Look at everybody doubts Trump's influence. No, I don't think anybody has ever doubted Trump's influence in Republican primaries. Republican primaries. And that train's moving, and they think it's going great, and there's this big giant train over here that is like, yeah, we see you. You don't see us, but we see you. We see what you're doing, and we're going to meet here very soon, and that's probably not going to go well for you. Like, let's talk about some data on this, right? Like, I'll give you some specific examples of what I'm talking about here. Okay, the House and Senate are two different animals. The Senate, there are currently 53 Republicans. 53. And don't forget, the Republican brand itself is ass. That used to be, remember we used to have that saying on the old radio show, the Republicans are ass. Think about 2 years ago now, think about how Trump outperformed, how many Senate races were lost, like in Nevada, where Trump squeaked out a victory. How Republicans consistently underperformed Trump. That's the baseline of the Republican Party. Republicans are not liked. Republicans are not liked. Republicans underperformed in 2022. They lost to a guy in Fetterman who during a debate said, "Hi, good night, everyone." People were like, we'd rather have Uncle Fester who can't string a sentence together than Dr. Oz. Oh, well, by the way, Dr. Oz was the Trump guy. So if you look at, and I've just picked four kind of random swingy type of states. There's going to be a whole bunch of them by the time we get to November. And we don't even know the nominees in a bunch of these states, but I just picked four. It's 53-47 right now in the Senate. 50-50 is a tie. Vance could still break the tie in favor of the Republicans. So you got to get four if you're the Democrats. I just picked four. There's going to be a whole bunch in a few months, but I just picked the four that I know of right now. Roy Cooper is the Democrat in North Carolina. North Carolina has had Republican senators for a long time now. it had flipped over time under Obama to a Republican state after years of being kind of a Democrat state. Roy Cooper is the Democrat governor of North Carolina. He is beating the brakes off of the Trump-backed challenger for Senate. He's going to win overwhelmingly. This guy is so far down. The Trump guy, I think he was the head of the Republican Party, is the guy who's running. I saw a report the other day that said the Republicans are going to have to spend $75 million in North Carolina just to make it respectable. It's over. Just throw that one off the board. There's one. And I know a thing or two about North Carolina politics. Roy Cooper's been around forever. He's going to smoke this guy. And what happened? Republicans had that as a reliable seat. Tom Tillis was the senator. Not saying he's great, not saying he's awesome. I'm saying if you're the all-Republican through and through team and Trump hates Tillis, and Tillis is like, I'm out of here. Smooch my butt cheeks. Okay, there's one. Throw it away. In Maine, Plattner, who was supposed to be in a contested primary, and he was beating the brakes off the Democrat governor of Maine, so she's out of the race. He's going to be the nominee. The polls out right now have him smoking Susan Collins in Maine. He's up like 10 or 11 points. Susan Collins probably going down. There's two. Texas, and we'll talk about this here in just a minute, because Trump did it again. He endorsed this Ken Paxton lunatic, weirdo idiot. No, I'll do it now. I'm gonna read the resume of the guy Trump endorsed yesterday in Texas. And look, John Cornyn's a squirrel too. But I'm not operating from the standpoint of, hey, all Republicans all the time to help Trump. That's what the Republican primary voter is about, right? What do we do to help Trump? Here's the resume. Time magazine went through Ken Paxton's resume yesterday. So if you guys aren't familiar, there's a runoff in Texas. John Cornyn is the incumbent. He's, traditional establishment. He's been very good to Trump. He's been very subservient to Trump on almost everything. On almost everything. Like, I guarantee if you looked at Paxton's or Cornyn's voting record, it's like 95% what Trump wants. But it wasn't 100. Trump endorsed Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is the attorney general in Texas right now. And Trump, look, an endorsement matters because an endorsement is saying vote for them. Vote for this person. It's not staying out of it. It's not I'll deal with whoever the nominee is. I'll support whoever the nominee is. Trump's weighing in. He's telling people who he wants to run with. Here's, according to Time, Ken Paxton's record in his personal existence. And you tell me if you think, wow, that's awesome Trump endorsed this guy. Because he has a choice. In 2015, Paxton was indicted over accusations of defrauding investors. The legal saga went on for 9 years. In 2024, Paxton struck a deal with prosecutors in which he agreed to repay almost $300,000 in restitution and complete 100 hours of community service in exchange for them dropping the charges. Okay, there's one. Defrauded investors, $300,000 in restitution, 100 hours of community service. That's the first thing on Paxton. Think that'll show up in ads? Think that's going to not get put all over the state? By the way, Taralico, the guy he's running against, is the golden boy for the Democrats and the media. They are going to put everything into getting that dude elected. In 2020, while this case I just referenced was still playing out, still going on, Paxton was also accused by 8 members of his senior staff of taking bribes from a real estate developer and abusing his office. The result of that, The Age reported this to the FBI, which resulted in them suing. Now, keep in mind, in 2020, that was the Trump administration. That was the Trump FBI. 2020, can't blame that on Biden. Paxton, they reported the FBI, they launched an investigation. Paxton later fired 4 of these whistleblowers, which resulted in them suing on claims of retaliation and being awarded $6.6 million. The FBI investigation, along with whistleblower lawsuits, prompted the Texas State House, which are Republicans, Can't blame that on Biden or the Democrats either. To impeach Paxton on 20 articles in 2023. Now, the Senate, as often happens, didn't follow through because of the high standard of conviction. So you've got the guy defrauding investors when he had to pay back $300,000 in restitution, according to Time, and complete 100 hours of community service. He was impeached on 20 articles of allegedly taking bribes from a real estate developer. Oh, and then there's more with the real estate developer. Think that, by the way, so think both of those aren't going to show up in ads all over the state. By the way, Texas, it's not a red. I mean, it's red to an extent, but it certainly can and has in the past gone Democrat. The impeachment prosecutor in Paxton's impeachment trial alleged that the real estate developer who allegedly bribed Paxton, who Paxton was married at the time, hired Paxton's girlfriend, so he's married and he has a girlfriend, so that the two could meet in secret in Austin. Oh, by the way, Paxton's wife, she was a member of the Senate while this was going on and has since filed for divorce. That's the guy that Trump was just like, let me endorse that. Because Cornyn didn't vote with him 100% of the time. Not because of some liberal crap Cornyn did, which he's done a lot of it. Cornyn's been there a long time. No, Trump's not mad about that. Trump's okay with people being there a long time and siding with the Democrats because he loves Lindsey Graham. And Trump said it in his endorsement. Well, Cornyn didn't vote with me 100% of the time. He did it a lot, but not 100% of the time. So now Trump's endorsed this idiot Paxton. And that's going to put the Senate race in Texas in play, which public opinion polling shows if it's Taralico versus Paxton right now, without even knowing if Paxton's the guy or not, it's a toss-up. They're statistically tied before any of the media gets a hold of Paxton. Okay, that's 3 potentially. And in Ohio, where the Trump guy is running for Senate, Sherrod Brown is running for Senate again. He was the popular long-term Democrat. He got beat by Vance in 22. He's back. And that public opinion polling on that, within the margin of error, as is the governor's race, in which it's Ramaswamy, the Trump guy, and Ohio's a deep red state. The fact that you have public polling showing the governor and senator's races are statistical ties, that doesn't mean that the Democrats are going to win, but they'd be like it happening in Indiana. Ohio is basically as red as Indiana. I just picked 4 states, guys. This is the public responding to the candidates that Republicans are putting forward because the absolute loyalty to Trump is all that's mattering in the Republican primaries right now. And you got to lose 4. You lose 4, you lose the Senate. I don't. Even with the gerrymandering, most people don't think there's any way the Republicans can keep the House. Just if you just look at all historical data, you look at all the public opinion polling, and you merge those two things together. And I just think it's fascinating that we're doing victory laps over the defeat of Thomas Massie. Why? Well, because he didn't do what Trump wanted. But what if what Trump wanted him to do was spend more money, grow the debt, not tell the truth about Epstein, have unlimited ability of Trump to do whatever war he wants to do without any sort of congressional oversight? That's what we're celebrating we defeated? That's what we're happy is gone? A guy who was all about independence and transparency and accountability and not adding to our $39 trillion national debt? So it begs the question, what is the Republican Party now? What is the Republican Party? What are they all about? What is winning to the Republican Party? I keep hearing about winning. And I look at our national debt, and it's $20 trillion higher than when Trump took office. the first time. Do you guys realize that? It's $20 trillion higher than when Trump took office. Now, Biden's in there for 4 of those years, so he's certainly a part of the stew. But it isn't like Trump did all this stuff and then Biden was in, he's like, well, that old bag's out of there. Let's stop spending the money. First thing Trump did was pass a bill that added $5 trillion to the debt. Inflation is totally out of control. Gas prices are totally out of control. Is that winning? What is winning? And when are the Republicans going to say, the Republican primary voter, hey, this guy's been in charge of all of this. Maybe we got to stop and go, hey, we got to have some checks and balances here. And so my question then becomes, if we look at all historical data, also historical data in the sense of how Republicans do when Trump is not on the ballot, and if the Republicans lose this fall, and by lose I will say House and Senate, do we then move on to some other version of winning? What are we doing here? I don't recognize what's going on right now. Do you guys? Do you get it? Do you like it? I want Trump to succeed. I want our country to succeed. I want food to be affordable. I want my money to have meaning. I want people to be able to prosper and grow their businesses, to afford to get to work and take their kids to daycare. I want policies that will make that happen. It's hard to play victim when you're in charge of everything. So after last night and watching the victory laps of the end of Thomas Massie, that's the question I'm pondering. What is the Republican Party? What do they stand for? What are they about? What is winning? And what happens if all of these Trump candidates don't win this fall? And if they do, what are we getting? I think those are all very worthwhile questions. Hey, guys, selling your home is a massive transition, and it can feel overwhelming. Lauren Wilson believes you deserve a real estate experience that is as special and as personal as the home you're selling. When you work with Lauren Wilson, you're going to get somebody that is there for you the entire way. Your advocate, your cheerleader, your confidant. Lauren Wilson gives you her direct attention the entire way through. She's a Hoosier lifer, a military vet, and she would love to help you start putting a plan together today, even if you aren't thinking about moving right now. Lauren Wilson with At Properties, 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. Okay, let's get to some local stuff when we come back. Update on the Diego Morales Deputy Chief of Staff story. The latest when we return. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with At Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with At Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. We have an update on the Diego Morales Deputy Chief of Staff saga. Of course, there are all sorts of questions now. Abdul with the big expose yesterday on whether this Diego Morales Chief of Staff, making $160,000 a year according to Abdul, was a citizen of the United States. And I want to read you the update from Abdul as he posted it this morning, and then we'll get into more about this. So this was from Abdul over on Facebook, and here's what he had to say. A closer look at the BMV record shows that every Indiana driver's license the state of Indiana has ever issued to his Deputy Chief of Staff, Elena Cupsey, 9 of them between February 2014 and April of 2026, carries Restriction 9. The BMV code applied to non-U.S. citizens. None reached the standard 6-year term Indiana issues to citizens. The most recent was issued on April 30th, 2026, the day after she resigned. Asked whether her I-9 employment eligibility verification is on file, the State Personnel Department would not say it is. The filing deadline for the Secretary of State candidates at next month's convention is 5 p.m. Thursday. Okay. So that is the latest on the Abdul reporting. Of course, he did a huge expose on this yesterday over at indypolitics.org. And at least as of the start of this show, Diego Morales has not said anything. Now, look, this story has been out there for a couple weeks now. I know. I was approached with it. And as we talked about yesterday, I do a lot of homework and research before I break the news, and I was not done with what I was doing, and Abdul went with it, and I know other people are looking into it. A lot of other people now are looking into it. So I said, great, you guys have at it. I'll report off of comment off of what you guys report. So you have a lengthy piece with documentation from the state of Indiana, which appears to raise major concerns about whether or not our Secretary of State, who runs elections in Indiana, who oversees businesses in the state of Indiana, had a non-citizen not only working in his office, but elevated all the way to Deputy Chief of Staff. Like, major concerns that may have happened with documentation in the article, and also that this person, where there is serious concern whether or not they were a citizen of this country, had registered to vote, which non-citizens, as far as I know, unless somebody can correct me on this, are not able to register to vote. You got to be a citizen to vote. I mean, the documentation is cited in the article of which Abdul was working off of. And Diego Morales, 24 hours later, has said nothing. Now think about that. And by the way, people don't just get to be deputy chiefs of staff. That's not how this works. The people generally become that deputy chief of staff with a very close recommendation or very close relationship to the office holder, or a very strong recommendation and some sort of interview and get to know you process, you get a very strong recommendation from power players, influential people, to the candidate, to the office holder. That's how that works. Somebody whose track record appears to be she worked for the Pacers, she worked for the Fever, she worked for the Miami Dolphins, again, all according to Abdul. She had a cleaning service allegedly at one point. Those typically aren't the type of people that elevate to a deputy chief of staff. I mean, in normal circumstances, of course, nothing with Diego is ever normal. Those people serve as like gatekeepers to the office holder. Those are the people that help craft policy decisions. Those are the people that help decide what things the office holder is going to lean into, what they're going to promote, how they're going to sell agenda items, how they're going to get the legislature to go along with budget requests, keeping the person out of trouble. Like, you typically, again, see people in that position who have either years of government experience and track records of successfully helping statewide office holders achieve goals, agendas, etc. Or at the very least, they have a strong personal connection, usually through politics, usually through help. Hey, I helped this guy or this girl win, and now I become the deputy chief of staff or the chief of staff or whatever. Those are the sort of people that get those positions. So the question now, and this is based on the complete silence from Diego Morales. I mean, again, we're not talking about someone who is answering the phones. Not that that wouldn't raise some red flags, too, if anybody in Diego Morales' office and anyone in Indiana state government is a non-citizen. The Secretary of State, who oversees elections, businesses, a whole bunch of other stuff. That would be a red flag if indeed this woman is a non-citizen. That would raise some red flags itself. But you have someone, in this case, based on the job description. By the way, the other thing that's very bizarre, according to Abdul, the LinkedIn profile, I believe it was, she listed herself as chief of staff. There's a huge difference between the chief of staff and the deputy chief of staff. What was this woman? What did she actually do? Why was she paid that much money? Was she a citizen? Is she currently still in the country? If not, why? None of these are gotcha questions based on evidence provided by state documents that Abdul has obtained, or based on the responses of state agencies that Abdul has obtained. Like, is this person a citizen? It's like not a hard question. It's not, Rob Kendall, are you a citizen of the United States? Yes, I am. Like, the silence is deafening. But that office has a track record, unless Diego goes ballistic because he gets mad because someone gets mad at him and makes an ass out of himself and starts shouting things like, I pay. That office has a track record of just hoping stories go away, because often they do. The media runs out of steam. But Abdul has now on multiple occasions provided evidence provided from state agencies, state documents that appear to raise serious, serious questions about whether Indiana's Secretary of State, who has the personal information of millions of Hoosiers, yours, mine, Jason's, everyone's, whether this guy had a non-citizen serving as his deputy chief of staff. How did she get that job? And by the way, if you look her up on the internet, there ain't much. There ain't much. Give it a try. Tell me what you come up with. We as the public have a right to know, based on documentation provided by the state of Indiana, what's going on here. If she is a citizen, why does this driver's license information appear to show, or at least call into very serious question, that she is not? What's going on here? Where was the mistake? How did this person elevate in a short period of time, according to documents made available, from working for the Fever and the Pacers and then the Dolphins to being the deputy chief of staff of the Secretary of State? That's not gotcha journalism. That's not fake news. That's not smear merchant. That's valid questions. Where is this woman now? Where did she go? A lot of times, guys, I don't know if you know, people who get those great government jobs, they don't just give them up, especially making 160 large. Where is she at? What did she leave the state of Indiana to go do? Why was there no announcement of her leaving? Normally when people that high up in the food chain leave, that they, the office or the person put something out. Hey, loved working for the Secretary of State, or loved working for this office. It was a real honor to serve my state. I'm heading over to help run this nonprofit or whatever, right? What's going on here? And if there's a logical explanation for it, and all of those things need to be answered, Diego Morales needs to give them. But that's what we know right now, the new information provided by Abdul today. And guys, there could be some totally logical explanation. Oh, silly Abdul. He missed this and he missed that. And this person is, born here and in this state, and they came here at this time. And this guy, Abdul, how much Abdul hates, or Diego hates Abdul. What a great chance to make Abdul look like a complete idiot here. What an awesome opportunity with really no work whatsoever to make Abdul look like a complete moron. And yet, we haven't heard anything. I don't think this story is going to go away. I think this is one of them that's going to stay around until the answers are provided, and maybe there are totally reasonable explanations, and we'll get them soon. I'll pay. Hey, guys, got a leaky chimney, water in your basement, cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay, they don't offer just quick patches. They're a team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMackay.com, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialists. All right, we're going to take a break. We've got a lot more to get to today, guys. Jam-packed show. Got an update on the recount stuff going on. There's another recount. There's another recount. And are the Democrats finally starting to get their act together? The game plan for the Democrats in Indiana to get back to some level of relevance has been revealed. Big article about that on the Capitol Chronicle today. We'll talk about that when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. We got some breaking news to talk about. Big news here in Indiana politics and government. And it's really coincides with our last segment. We'll get to that in just a second. Before we do, don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, you guys can really help us out by hitting the like button. A little thumbs up button there on the YouTube feed. Whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching us on demand, hitting that like button really helps us grow this program. Also, share the feed, guys. Look, we are totally dependent upon you guys to get our name out there. Well, that and our billboard, thanks to John Rust. And speaking of John Rust, third hour each day, brought to you by John Rust. Thank you, John Rust. But you guys, it's an organic growth, right? We are dependent upon you guys. Every day you guys step up. Every day you guys deliver for us. We call it the like, share, and subscribe. That's how we get the word out. That's how we grow the program. Continue to please help us do that with those 3 things every single day. Tell your friends about us as well. And, of course, robkendallshow.com, the live show coming up June the 27th. Tickets have been going great so far. They're going to sell out. Don't get caught. Last time we heard that from all those people, oh, yeah, I can get them next week. Get them. I said, we don't do that. They're going to sell out. And then finally they're like, well, they sold out. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And so go ahead, guys. It's a celebration of the show. It's a celebration of you guys. If you've been saying, hey, I love the show. What's something nice I can do for the show? Get your ticket. June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to have laughs. We're going to hang out. We're going to enjoy each other's company. And we're going to celebrate you guys helping this program grow, helping this program succeed. Get your tickets now. The link is available at robkendallshow.com. robkendallshow.com. That's a great way you can not only help our show out, but have a fun evening for yourself. We tried to make the tickets super affordable, and Jason has decided what he is going to do, what his contribution is going to be for the live show. We'll get into that a little bit today when we do the YouTube comments coming up at the end of the show, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Okay, breaking news. We'll get into it in just a second. Before we do that, it's Wednesday, and that means Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is open. You know, they're open through Wednesday through Saturday. Memphis, authentic Memphis-style barbecue, wood smoked, not screwing around. The owners, Tina and Dennis Duncan, and their son Garrett from Memphis. Tina actually worked at Graceland. How about that? She actually worked at Graceland. So in honor of that, the whole restaurant, Elvis-themed. Awesome food, great service, Elvis-themed decor. Double D's Barbecue. They bring the receipts, guys. They've been winner of both Best Ribs and Best Sauce at Ribfest in Hendricks County. Every one of you guys who's been out there so far, and I love hearing the mentions and the posts, you guys have loved it because they're outstanding. Double D's Barbecue. Get the full menu. located right there at 49 and 30 in Clayton, open Wednesday through Saturday. Ribs, brisket, and more. DDBBQ317.com. DDBBQ317.com. Okay, big news, just breaking. There is a new candidate in the Indiana Secretary of State's race on the Republican side. His name is Max Engling. He currently serves as a representative, an aide to Jim Banks, and he ran for Congress. I believe that was in 2024 in Hamilton County, in the primary was it Hamilton County? I think that's right. He ran for Congress. I think it was in the Hamilton County primary with the one with Victoria Spartz and Chuck Goodrich, and he was not successful. He is young. He is super interesting because he works for Banks. Well, Banks has endorsed Diego. So what happens with that? Now, look, here's what I know. I can say this now. I alluded to this a little bit last week. I got multiple phone calls last week from delegates saying we have to get someone who can beat Diego. And my response was, well, what about Shelton? I said, Shelton is by far the most qualified person. And they said, he's too boring. I said, I've been saying that for months and months and months and years. David Shelton is like the perfect guy to be Secretary of State because he is so boring. He has no drama. He's obsessed with elections. He's a clerk in Knox County. Like, he is the perfect guy to be the Secretary of State. There would be no drama with David Shelton. The guy lives, eats, breathes, sleeps elections. You Republicans would be so right to pick a qualified person, but we can't have that in the Republican Party. We can't have that. We can't have a boring Republican holding office who's super qualified. And they said, no, I agree, Rob. They said, but he's too boring. He can't win at the convention. He can't move the delegates. We got to get somebody else. I said, well, sounds like a personal problem to you guys. I'm not a delegate. By the way, I'm going to ask for the media pass again this year. Do we think the Republicans will block me from covering their state convention? What do we think? When I apply for the media pass to go to Fort Wayne to cover the Republican state convention, do we think the Republicans will ban me from covering the convention? What do you guys think? Let me know in the YouTube chat. So this person asked me, well, what do you think we should do? I was like, well, if I were you guys, I would just get behind Shelton because I don't think anybody good's going to want it. And you're going to start splitting the vote up. But in lieu of you not getting behind Shelton or telling Shelton, like, shock him with an electrocute him or something and get him a pulse so he'll start bringing smoke. You know, the one time Shelton brought smoke was on our show. When he was a guest here a few weeks ago, he was bringing heat. I was like, you should do that everywhere you go. Everywhere you should go. You should look at Diego Morales and point at him and go, that guy's a liar. That guy's a con man. That guy's a fraudster. You didn't pay for India. Who paid? Who pay? That should have been on the shirt. You should wear that at convention. See, that's what I would have done. Who pay? I told Shelton even, I was like, Shelton, you're so boring. I will introduce you at convention. I think I even said it on the show. I was like, I will introduce you. I will bring the pulse you do not have because we've got to get rid of Diego. If you feel like you're down, let me introduce you and I will just rip and roast and shred Diego for 5 minutes or whatever I've got. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah, here's David Shelton. And the offer still stands. The offer still stands. But multiple people were calling me about this, and they were asking me, like, who do you think should run? I was like, I don't like any of these people. Haven't you people figured this out by now? And they don't like me. Well, there has to be somebody you like. No. And I told one person this. I said, I'm out of the endorsement game. Ain't no blaming Rob Kendall for any candidate ever again. Mike and Braun, that was it. Mike and Braun were the last straw. You ain't never going to blame Rob Kendall ever again. Because all I got for years was Rob never talks about what he's for. Rob never talks about who he's behind. Rob never talks about, it's always negative. And so the one time I was like, all right, against all my better judgment, I'm going to be for somebody. And now everybody's mad. Well, Braun and Mike are your fault. So I said, not playing that game. You know who I told one person? I really hope they went down this rabbit hole. You know who I told one person they should call? Tony Katz. I was like, Katz always talks about wanting to be a politician. Call Katz. Ask him to run. Tell him you think he'd be a great Secretary of State. I don't know if they did or not. But this kid's name kept coming up from multiple people. This Max Engling. And I was like, I don't know. You know my theory. An aged potato skin would be better than Diego. I think the Republicans had the perfect guy in Shelton. And by the way, this is my point about this Max England guy. I've met him a couple times. He seems very nice. He's not exactly Mick Jagger up there on stage. He's young, good-looking dude. Works for Banks. The problem with working for Banks is Banks endorsed Diego. Is Banks going to pull a Trump and unendorse? And then, I mean, what does this guy offer that Shelton wasn't offering? I mean, I know he got prodded into running. I got the phone calls from multiple people. His name came up in all the conversations. These people aren't connected. So I know he got prodded into running. But what does he bring? Like, what if the vote is an anti-Diego vote, like, Max Engling is not going to be strutting down the catwalk. He's not going to be, wow, look at the magnanimous nature of Max Engling. Nothing against Max. Fine guy, very nice. Probably, maybe competent. I don't know. But was Banks, which is your real thing? I mean, the guy ran for Congress. He didn't win, clearly. He ain't in Congress. What's the selling point here? And I don't know, is the theory like two guys beating up on Diego is better than one? Are Shelton and Engling going to come to an agreement of, hey, whichever one of us? So here's how convention works, guys. Oh, this will be a great chance for me to explain how the convention works. So when you go to the Republican convention, if you're a candidate for statewide office, now maybe it'll change this time. Normally, there's the delegates, I'm getting off here a little bit. I didn't know I was going to do this today, so I'm doing all this from just on the fly here. The delegates are the ones who decide. I don't know what the number is. I think it's 1,800 or something like that. And you've got to get a majority of the delegates, whatever that number is. So 50% plus one of the people who vote each time. Now, that's key. I'll come back to that in a second. Of the people who vote each time, you have to get 50% plus one. And someone can correct me, if I make any mistakes on this, you say, Rob, you screwed this up, I'll gladly correct it. I'm doing all this from memory off the top of my head because, again, I didn't know this was going to happen. It just happened. So you go the day of convention. You have supporters that are there for you. They greet the people as they're coming in. They're wearing shirts. They're handing out brochures. It's a lot of fun, unless you're like have a candidate you're supporting. It's a nightmare. If you have a candidate you're supporting, you're nervous. You're trying to judge people's body language. How do they accept your information? How do they greet you? Like all that. But as a spectator, it's a lot of fun. And then the convention starts. They go through party business. And then in the contested races, of which right now there's only one, the treasurer and the comptroller, which are God, I did it again. The treasurer. What the hell's his name? We have him on the show all the I did this last time. And Elise Nishala, she's the comptroller. I did this the last time. What the hell's have you ever had that? Where it's like a guy staring you right in the face. You know the guy. He's been on our show. I actually like him. He does a good job. And then, like, have you ever had that with people where you're like, the guy's just staring at you, and you can see him being very angry that you. The state treasurer for the state of Indiana. He voted against the bear stuff. It's like if we were doing the game where you got to get they're describing things to you. Anyway, doesn't matter. Like, just Google state treasurer Indiana. Show up. Anyway, they'll be put into the nominating process. Daniel Elliott. Thank God. That's horrible. I've done it twice. Done it twice now. Daniel Elliott. God, I am slipping. You guys ever have that where it's like you know someone? It's not even like, you remember that guy I knew years ago? What was his name, Margie? You remember? No, like I know the guy. Like he'll call me every so often. Well, I didn't know I needed notes on this. Like Daniel's a wonderful guy. Very nice guy. We talk every so often. Like that's twice now. I did that last week and then I thought of his name where it's like there's some block. I'm like seeing his face. I'm seeing him sitting on the couch next to me doing the interview. That's horrible. Sorry, Daniel Elliott. I am sorry that I forgot you. I not even forgot your name. It's like a blank. And then you know what happens? Here's what happens, guys. You start panicking, like internally. You're mad at yourself. And then your brain just isn't functioning properly. Daniel Elliott. Anyway, Elliott and Nishala, their nominations will be put into place. They'll be accepted. There's no challenger. Then for the candidates where there are challengers, they are they get an opportunity to address the delegates one last time, and usually it's a three-part thing. I think there's a video. They have a big jumbotron or whatever projector. They show the video. It's a produced video. They then have somebody that introduces the candidate. They could speak for 3 to 4 minutes, and then the candidate gets up and gives a speech, 5 minutes or whatever about vote for me. After all of that, all the candidates get an opportunity to do that. Then the delegates go vote, just like you would vote on Election Day. There's like little booths. I think you have to show your ID. You sign in. You vote. It's a machine, just like Election Day. The votes are tallied. At the first vote, if somebody does not get 50% plus one of the total votes cast, I believe there is a second vote. They give everybody an opportunity to vote again. After the second vote, again, if nobody gets 50% plus one, then the person who gets last has to drop out. So like if there's 3 people running, let's say it's Diego, and it's Shelton, and it's Engling. Let's say Engling gets last. He then drops out, and then there's another vote. And at that point, then somebody, if there's 2 candidates, would have to get 50% plus one. So Engling, or whoever gets last, would then typically let their supporters know, because there's a window before everybody goes and votes, who would I like you to vote for? Doesn't mean they have to. Doesn't mean they're obligated to. But he would give some sort of endorsement, which one would assume, based on the fact that he's running, that the endorsement would be Diego. Or, obviously, Shelton, same way. So let's think about this. Like, logically, what does this do? Even if this guy doesn't win, he brings a lot of attention to someone else is running for Secretary of State and why that is. Hey, Max Engling is running. Who? Why? Well, he's a banks guy. Why is he running? Well, one would assume he would make a very viable case. And Max, little advice from Uncle Rob here. Don't be a wimp like Shelton. And I love Shelton. I think Shelton's uber qualified. I would be tickled pink if Shelton were the winner. Don't be a wimp. People want the smoke. They want the smoke at that convention. You look at everyone, and I don't care that Banks is your boss. If he still is your boss. I think he still works for Banks. You want to win? Tell everybody. Diego didn't pay for India. Demand to know who did. When you meet with these delegates, you tell them what Diego is. You tell them. He went to a foreign country for 10 days, and he won't tell anyone who paid for it. Oh, and while he was there, his buddy, Raju, who has a contract with Diego's office, or had a contract with Diego's office, and went on the trip with Diego, was bragging about selling visas. In the same city, Diego reportedly met with the mayor. Tell him. Tell these people in Ville and Berg and these far-flung corners of the state who Diego gets away with his BS because he smiles real pretty at the Lincoln Day and hands them a plate as they go through the buffet line. Tell them about the brother-in-law. Tell them about the $90,000 car. Tell them about the no-bid contracts to donors to the campaign. Tell them about, depending on, you'll have plenty of time now, how this allegation that potentially Diego had a non-citizen as his deputy chief of staff, according to the reporting from Abdul. Max, if you ain't going to do that, I don't know why you're running. You're just going to embarrass yourself. But the lane is there. Clearly, there are a huge group of delegates who can't stand Diego Morales, want him out of there at all costs because they recognize, and this is the thing with Rob, right? Everybody always, Rob this, shock jock that. Rob just does stuff for ratings or clicks or listens. Those delegates know, and some of these people who called me said they knew. That stuff I wrote in the Star, I don't care what publication it was in. Everybody knows it's real. If Diego's the nominee, who's it help? It helps Ballard, and it helps Bai. If Diego's the nominee, all that scenario I wrote about is exactly what's likely to play out. Ballard blows past 10%, which means there's a new political party with primary ballot access who hate the Trump and conservatives. That's the old order is going to get that ballot access. And Bo Bai becomes a Secretary of State. You can badmouth old Uncle Rob all you want, but the fact is that this kid's in the race now who was recruited, and I know the people that were doing the recruiting. They did it because I was right. Diego is a piece of trash, and everyone knows it. At least the people that are in the know it. If you're Shelton, man, it's kind of an indictment of your campaign. It's an indictment, and look, Shelton's still got time to do it too. Start bringing the heat. Make this election. It's not about competency, David. It's about Diego Morales and the fact that we probably even haven't scratched the surface on the crap that guy's pulled. You guys, Max and David, you guys have a month. Spend the next month, every person you talk to, every event you go to. You want to win? I know these people. You want to win? You make every conversation about everything we've been talking about for years with Diego Morales. And until this woman surfaces and reveals where she is and that she is indeed a citizen of this country, you make that the issue too. Diego's refusal to provide any sort of evidence or put this thing to rest. Now, maybe she surfaces today and goes, Abdul's an idiot. I'm clearly a citizen, and here's my proof. And Abdul can go, you know what, himself. And boy, as much as Diego hates Abdul, like the only person that Diego may hate more than me is Abdul. He could make Abdul look so bad. So bad. And yet, silence. Man, this convention just got wild. What do we think? They're going to let me go cover? I mean, I've always been very fair and polite and well-behaved at the conventions I've been at. I mean, that would be a massive story if they banned me from covering the convention. I mean, I've always been very well-behaved at every convention I've ever been to. Now, they probably got mad at the one 2 years ago because I was a bigger star than the candidates. But I'm not working for anybody at this one, or I'm not there on behalf of anyone at this one. I'll be there just to cover it and observe, and they'll probably still be mad because I'll be a star, but that's neither here nor there. Hey, guys, buying a home or thinking about refinancing, work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps home buyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple. Clear advice and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes or call 317-695-5179 to learn more to get started today. Loansbygary.homes, 317-695-5179. You got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment, so call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow in MLS, number 179207 with Verity Mortgage. In MLS, number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. And by the way, the offer now stands to England, too. If you're in and you want me to introduce you and just roast the hell out of Diego, that's the best thing you could possibly do. Offer is still good to Shelton. I'm offering it to England, or any other candidate that wants to get in this race. I will introduce you under the understanding I can just roast Diego Morales for 5 minutes, and that will be the best campaign decision you have ever made. Oh, and by the way, if you let me introduce you after roasting Diego, I will end it with vote for whichever one of you says Rob's going to introduce me. We'll bring it home. Let's do it. Hey, we'll be right back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us, being a part of things with us. If you haven't done so yet, hit that little thumbs up button. Give us a like today. That certainly help us grow our program. We always try to get by the 11:30 time when we join you guys for the YouTube chat. We always try to be at 200 likes. So if you can just take 1 second, give us a thumbs up. Jason is giving me a finger, not a thumb. That's not very nice. All right, so interesting article from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. And it sort of goes into a little bit about what I've been talking about for the last several months. We are in an election year. And it is, how do the Democrats get some level of relevance back in the state? Look, we all know the Democrats aren't going to take control of the state in 2026. Other than the 5th congressional district, there's absolutely no opportunity for them to win one of the other 7 congressional districts that are Republican. The 5th, I don't know, probably not. But because the Republicans, this is hilarious when they were all in on the gerrymandering. It's like, you guys uber gerrymandered the map in 22 to protect the 5th. Because Victoria Sparks is interesting, and they knew she was probably going down if they didn't alter the map. That was why when all the people were like, well, we could get rid of Carson and the this and the that. And it's like, if you start messing with that 5th district, you're going to get rid of Sparks because you had to move the map to make Carson stronger to help Sparks the last time. But the Democrats probably have, other than maybe a very outside chance on the 5th if a lot of things break right, not all a chance to pick up the congressional districts. But so when we talk about relevance, at least with those, I'm not talking about them winning. I'm talking about, hey, it's no longer 65-35. Can you make it 55-45? Can you make it to where, hey, 2 years from now, people go, hey, those Democrats made some gains? The State House, the state Senate seats, they're a little different. There is an opportunity, and I've been saying this for a while, now they've actually identified what the game plan is, that the Democrats can get out of super minorities. Not out of the minority. No. That's going to take a long, long time. Like Elton John once said, it's going to be a long, long time. But the Democrats have a realistic chance this year to get out of the super minority. And this article from the Capitol Chronicle lays out how they plan to do that in the House of Representatives. And right now it is a 70-30 split. 70 Republicans, 30 Democrats in the Indiana House of Representatives. Look, when you have put yourself in such a bad position as the Democrats have, you have to baby step your way out of it. You're like Bob, and What About Bob? Baby steps out the door. Baby steps down the hall. Baby steps onto the elevator. One of the great underrated movies of all time, Bill Murray, What About Bob, if you've never seen it. And by the way, if you've never seen What About Bob, the backstory is Bill Murray's character has OCD, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and he goes to see Richard Dreyfuss, who is this renowned therapist, and then he just ends up making Richard Dreyfuss's life completely miserable. And Bill Murray's great in it. Bill Murray's fabulous. Having OCD, it's not that far off. I mean, a lot of us aren't as extreme as the Bill Murray character because he's totally over the top, but there's a lot of truth to the Bill Murray character in What About Bob. Watch it at some point if you haven't. But the baby steps, that's the book that Richard Dreyfuss, the therapist in the movie, wrote that he has Bill Murray read to try to get his OCD under control. And if you're the Democrats, that's what you have to look at 2026 as. Baby steps. And so the Capitol Chronicle has a story that the Democrats, a national group, National Money, has identified 6 seats the Democrats realistically believe are winnable, Republican seats that they believe are winnable in 2026. They have to get 4 of them. 4 of the 6 would get them out of the super minority. And as we've talked about at length on this program, 3 of those are right here in central Indiana. Central Indiana suburbs that the Democrats believe realistically in what is shaping up nationally to be a more favorable year for the Democrats that they can win. The Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee announced Tuesday that these 6 districts, which include Becky Cash in Zionsville, Danny Lopez of Carmel, and Hunter Smith of Zionsville, are all going to be in play for them. They said, quote, Indiana Democrats are within striking distance of breaking the House GOP supermajority that has dominated the state for more than a decade. This is according to DLCC President Heather Williams. From failing to address affordability crisis to ignoring soaring utility rates and slashing access to health care, working Hoosiers are struggling to get by under Republican policies. And that sounds like the sort of talking points that are going to be necessary to win these sorts of races. You notice what you didn't hear in there now when she says access to health care. Who knows with that? Because the Democrats believe abortion is health care. So who knows? Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. But when you look at polling, what are the biggest concerns? What are the biggest issues where Republicans are vulnerable? It's utility rates, as she mentioned, affordability, cost of living, property taxes, healthcare costs. And that is different language than we've heard in the past, where it's abortion, trans, see me for who I am, all that stuff, right? Which just totally alienates any independent or moderate Republican who might flip over and vote for you. And these districts are gettable. Carmel is going more blue. Zionsville is going more blue. Zionsville had a Democrat mayor not all that long ago. She was a complete nutbag, but a Democrat mayor. And Becky Cash, who her district is Zionsville and then into Brownsburg, north part of Brownsburg, knowing the lay of the land there, she won by just 64 votes. 64 votes in 2024. That's 32 people you got to change. Well, 33. Got to flip 33 people. If you got every vote you got last time and you've changed 33 people's minds, you win. There's a lot of people who will privately say they are very, very, very concerned about Becky Cash going down. Now, that's one. That's one. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But privately, a lot of people are very concerned. Every vote is going to count in that race. Now, if you're a person who believes in accountable government, this is good news to you that the Democrats finally, after like over a decade, finally appear to have some sort of reasonable plan to start winning anything in the state of Indiana. And look, if you've got, and they got to have some things fall their way. Look, a huge decider, like George Bush, I'm the decider, a huge factor in how the Democrats do this fall is going to depend on if Diego Morales is on the ticket for the Republicans. Because Diego's place on the ticket is going to dictate what sort of ads Bo Bai can run with his $10 million. And it's going to dictate whether he can paint the rest of the Republican Party, the Republican candidates, and force them to respond to Diego and stay with Diego. And buys money, being able to take your top guy on the Republican side and just brutalize him with ads for 4 or 5 months is going to lift all the Democrats up. Because the Democrats will be able to campaign against Diego too. If it's Shelton or this England guy, that's a different ballgame. It becomes generic Republican against generic Democrat. It becomes a lot harder for Bai to run the campaign he wants to run. And if Diego's the nominee, you get people comfortable breaking with Republicans on something, even if it's to Ballard. Once you get people out of the straight ticket game, because Republicans depend on straight ticket voters. And once you get people out of the straight ticket game, that's where you just go in and say, I'm all Republican, and you leave. If Diego is so egregious that people are breaking themselves out of the straight ticket game to avoid voting for Diego, and if Ballard's there, that's a safe harbor for those people because they say, well, I didn't vote for a Democrat. Then you can get them to work through the ballot. And in these swing districts, if they have already said, okay, in this one, I'm not voting for the Republican, so I guess I'll work through the rest of the ballot. You could see some of these down ballot races benefit from that. And maybe the Democrats pick up 2 or 3 Senate seats. Maybe the Democrats pick up these 4 House seats. And if by some chance you couple that with Bai being victorious, now you have some level, not a lot, but some level of validity to be able to start to build off of that. I think the Democrats have in Indiana finally gotten tired of losing to the point where they maybe are putting the crazy people in a corner. Maybe they're finally saying, enough out of you, trans man. Not literally the trans person, but the people who just campaign. It's all the social stuff. All the abortion on demand people, like all of that. Maybe the Democrats are finally saying, you go in the corner now. We're done with you. We're done with you costing us elections. We're going to talk about the mainstream issues that cater to every person. The property taxes, the cost of living, the utility bills, the corruption. And if you got Diego, you can make the corruption a really big deal, which means you can bring the IEDC in. And healthcare, things like that. That's how you're going to start winning these seats. The right candidates talking about the right stuff. and staying disciplined enough. And this is where your congressional candidates can help you as well. Even if you have a congressional candidate who is in that 65-35 district or 60-40 district, you got to get them on message discipline too so that they can help all the other candidates. If you don't have a squirrel costing you votes, it's going to help Bo by. If you don't have a squirrel running for Congress, running on impeaching Trump, or a bunch of other national insanity that the national Democrats are for, you have an ability to not hurt your down ballot candidates. It's going to take an organized strategy for the Democrats. They have a viable person for the first time in a long time at the top. Oh, look, Bo By has not won the Secretary of State's race yet. I am making the assumption he will win, but Blythe Potter certainly could surprise everyone. I apologize for that. She was very nice on our show. She was very well spoken. I should not completely just say Bo By has won. She's running a very aggressive race. She's running a very hard race. She's fun. She has fundraised. So, maybe she surprises everyone. She could. Conventions are crazy. Nobody thought Micah Beckwith would win. It happens all the time, guys. It happens all the time. But at least it looks like, regardless of who it is at the top of the ticket, the Democrats are finally starting to get a game plan together. And we should all cheer for the Democrats to have normal people running around mainstream issues, even if we don't agree with them. Even if we don't agree with them, we should want them to be competitive and be viable because it will make the Republicans better. That should be our goal, to make the Republicans better. Hey, guys, pay attention to your bathroom fan the next time you turn it on. If it sounds like a jet engine or you can barely hear it at all, chances are it's not working the way it should. A lot of these fans are either worn out or they were never installed properly. So instead of moving the moisture, removing the moisture like it's supposed to, they're just moving noise. That doesn't do you any good, and that can cause big problems. Vent Savvy specializes in upgrading and correcting bathroom ventilation the right way. A little bit of expense up front to save you a lot in the future. That's what Vent Savvy's all about. Go to Vent Savvy, VENTSAVVY, VENTSAVVY.com and find out if your fan is actually doing its job. Hey guys, we got another recount on the way. We got another recount coming up. And it's going to be fascinating to see how this recount gets handled compared to the other one between Paula Copenaver and Spencer Deary. Why don't we take our last break? I'll get to that when we come back, and we'll turn you into the star. Producer Jason will have the best YouTube comments of the day. All that and more. A lot to get to when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Welcome back, you fabulous people. It's Rob Kendall Show. We're in the middle of hour 3. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, we're closing in on those 200 likes. We're so close. We got like 10 minutes before I got to get to Jason. So if you can, right now, hit that like button. Helps us grow the show. Coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to read the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. And again, just a reminder, chance for you to see us live and in living color. The Rob Kendall Show, live show, June the 27th at the Mad Hatter Comedy Club and Event Center in Greenwood. And we're going to have a rockin' good evening. It's going to be a celebration of you guys. It's going to be a celebration of the show. It's going to be a celebration of you guys keeping my career alive. One podcast at a time. No, seriously, we can't thank you guys enough. We're in week 12 of this. It's been gangbusters. Everybody's been blown away at how well the show has done, and it's because of you guys. Like I said for years on the radio, there is no me without you, and you guys deliver. And so Jason and I, we wanted to do this as a way to say thank you. We tried to make the tickets super affordable, and so if you've been like, man, I'd love to get out an evening out, we're going to entertain you. We're going to have fun. We're going to have some laughs. We're going to roast some politicians. It's a great opportunity for you to support the show and do something for yourself. It's the best of both worlds. Get your tickets now, heading over to robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. Click the ticket link, the live show link, and you get your tickets right there, and we'll see you. We're going to have a blast. We're going to deliver the goods June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club and Event Center in Greenwood. Hey, before we get to this recount stuff, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Road salts, environmental hazards like mold and dirt, they can all cause big damage to your concrete, whether it's your driveway, your sidewalk, your patio, whatever it might be. And quite frankly, you'll be an embarrassment to the whole neighborhood. But you don't have to stay that way. You can be embarrassment-free by calling our friends at Seal Now, the clean, seal, and stain professionals that help you protect your outdoor surfaces. And Seal Now does more than just concrete. They also do wood. So your decks, your patios, your pergolas, all of those things, Seal Now can bring them back to life. See their work over at sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com, sealnow.com. While you're there, you can schedule a free estimate. And when you mention, I heard about you guys. I know about you Seal Now guys. I heard about you on the Rob Kendall Show. Seal Now, going to take 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off any long-term sealing project. Just go to Seal Now, SEALNOW.com. Big supporters of the Rob Kendall Show. Support those who support the show. Okay, so there has been another recount filed. Of course, we talked about yesterday or the other day. I think it was yesterday. All these days run together now. All the days run together. the recount going on in Lafayette, 6-county area, Senate District 23, where Spencer Deary leads Paula Copenhaver by 3 votes. 1, 2, 3. 3 votes. And we talked about how ridiculous it is that Paula Copenhaver's big plan is that she's going to try to compel 14 people to testify that they're basically say that your vote was illegal and throw it out. Not that they voted in the wrong precinct or not that they weren't eligible to vote. No. You pesky people are Democrats or independents, and you're not going to vote for the Republicans in the fall, so you're out. That's her big plan. Boy, that woman, she's sure going to serve the people if she gets in there. Hey, how'd you get elected? Well, I got a bunch of votes thrown out. Boy, can't wait to work with you. But there is now another recount filed in Fort Wayne where Darren Vogt, ironically, that's his name, Vogt, V-O-G-T. That's what he should have been the slogan. Maybe it was. Maybe that's why he lost by 15 votes. He lost to Liz Brown, who's very proud of her Trump endorsement. Liz Brown, of course, the woman who stopped constitutional carry for years, held up immigration enforcement for years. Trump endorsed her. Also Ron Alting, super liberal Ron Alting over there in Lafayette. And I want to read you this quote of what Liz Brown said in response to votes requesting the recount. We've talked about the recount. Look, I don't have any problem with the recount. My thing I'm pissed off with Paul Copenhaver is that she's going to put these people under oath and demand some sort of blood loyalty to vote for the Republicans, or you don't get to vote. Now, Jason says I have to be family friendly because we're on in some offices and stuff now, so I can't tell Paula Copenhaver what I want to tell her. But you're rotten, lady. That's rotten. But I don't have any problem with the recount, especially one that's 3 votes or 15 votes or whatever. You look at the absentee ballots. People make mistakes. The votes get counted. All of these. Like, I don't have any problem with this. So listen to this response from Liz Brown. And by the way, Vogt's contention is that he has questions about Allen County's ballot counting, according to the Capitol Chronicle, had a big article about this, as local election officials blamed technical glitches that left them unable to complete preliminary tallies until the day after the primary. So he's saying, look, Allen County, that's Fort Wayne, it's a huge county, there's 15-vote difference. I have concerns about how these were tallied. I want the recount. Great. It's his right to do it. No problem. Listen to this response from Liz Brown, another lady that's like, oh, I'm sure she's really, really anxious to get to work for you. Vote is choosing a costly and time-consuming recount over party unity. That's a response. He's choosing a costly and time-consuming recount over party unity, as though if the roles were reversed, she wouldn't be doing the same thing. Is his boss, Jim Banks, funding the endeavor? Or is Attorney General Todd Rokita trying one final tactic to rid the Senate of its most independent conservative voice? I held up constitutional carry for years, and then I took my middle finger and stuck it in the face of immigration enforcement, but I'm an independent conservative voice. Sure, lady. Sure you are. And look, you got to be pretty bad for me to get on the same side as Rokita and Banks. But I love that vote is it's a costly and time-consuming recount over 15 votes. Now, my question to Brown is, now, are you going to do Copenhaver now? Well, let's do it. Let's say Copenhaver. Look, I'll accept Vote is doing it if you say Copenhaver's doing it too. Copenhaver is choosing a costly and time-consuming recount over party unity. If Liz Brown will put out a statement saying that, I'll support her on Vote. Want to bet she doesn't do that? These people they're all so full of it. I mean, all the guy's trying to do is make sure all the votes were counted. Is that really that bad of a deal? These people, they're all just the absolute worst, and we're forced to abide by what they say. One of the people who's the absolute best is Lauren Wilson. She's a realtor extraordinaire, local, committed to personalized service, your advocate, your corner man, your cheerleader, a person who wants to get to work for you, finding you the best house for you, and selling your house for the most amount of money. You got to have somebody that's on your team in the real estate game. Whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whether you're doing both, put Lauren Wilson, Hoosier lifer, military vet, to work for you. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. Huge fan of our show in addition to being a supporter of our show. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson with At Properties. Okay. I think I've done enough damage for today. With that, it's time to bring in everyone's favorite guy and part of the show, producer Jason, with the best YouTube comments. Jason, take it away.
How we doing, Rob? Everything okay today?
Thank you.
Yep,
yes.
Good show. All right. This was chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing to take advantage of that for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner, 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558. Black Sheep Plumbing.
Bingo.
All right, let's get to it.
Floor is yours.
All right, thank you, sir. Starting off the chat, this would have been right when the show started in that little 10-minute period there where we do the countdown and await Rob's awesome show. The Old Man 68, first one in today. Happy Wednesday, everyone. It should be an interesting show today. Down goes Massie.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder if Old Man works still. Old Man, do you work?
He's not that old. So he's not retirement age yet, according to him.
Well, he's not, but I don't know.
Okay. C. Mills, good morning. All had to get here 45 minutes early to get the first like in. The first of how many? How many are we at? We're probably at a couple hundred. I bet you we're at 200 right now. I haven't looked, but I bet you we're there. MLM Warriors, I was the second like. Now, we're not going to go through all 200, but just we always like to hit the first couple.
Yeah.
Spray Jockey, is Jason gone today or tomorrow? No, I am right here, and I'll be here tomorrow.
But I did start the show today.
That's true. Even my mom was asking, are you not going in? Is there a reason that Rob has to run the show? It's like, no, Rob should be capable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, again, I could go down.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yep.
Never know. All right, Steve Green with an E. Good morning, all. Today's show should be lit. I think you had a great show today, Rob.
Thank you.
That's from me, not from Steve Green.
Oh,
with an E.
thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Maybe Steve Green thought that too.
I think he did. He said, well, today's show would lit. Should be lit.
Should be lit.
I think he would probably be pleased. Nicholas Kurtz. Good morning, Rob Kendall Nation. At producer Jason, legend.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. By the way, we should point out, I know we say this every day, but we have new people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're new here, welcome. All you have to do to be a part of the YouTube chat and get your comment potentially read is subscribe to our channel.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That. Easy.
That's all you got to do. Bam. We're closing in on 3,000. We got to get those numbers up. I'm putting you guys in charge of that. Subscribe to the channel. You can comment in the YouTube chat.
All right. And continuing on. Where were we? Okay. After Nicholas Kurtz called me a legend, we got to Courtney Hill. Hey, friends. Missed y'all yesterday. We were wondering what happened to you, Courtney. We noticed you were gone.
Yeah.
Her daughter had honors awards.
Oh.
So congratulations.
How exciting.
All right. Victor Carr, where do you get the music playing in the pre-show countdown? All right. Basically, we get that off of YouTube. There's a free service if you're a YouTube, you have a channel and all that stuff. They have music that you can use, copyright-free music, and we don't use music from the radio because, again, they ding you for that, and they can actually make money off your video, and we're here to make the money go to us, not to Bruce Springsteen.
We're here for the money.
Because he's got like $5 billion and needs more.
Our money.
That's right. So that hopefully that answers your question, Victor. It's just I had to sit and choose the music, but it took me a while. But I found, I think, the right little combination. Probably have to change it up here pretty soon.
But you did a fine job.
Because it's been the same one for quite a while. Carol, 1776, push that like button. Yes, please. All right, continuing. All right, Adam Baltus. I saw a Todd Young ad telling us we need to thank him for not trading stocks. Oh, and he was a Marine, if you didn't know.
We love Baltus. Baltus Travel, fine sponsor of the Rob Kendall Show. Don't you love, those were always my favorite, and by favorite I mean least favorite, where I'm supposed to call and thank someone for doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
Am I like, call Rob Kendall today, call me today and thank me for doing this great show? Call the guy who stacks the Oreos at the Walmart and thank him. Like, how self-absorbed is that? Call and thank me.
Thank you for not trading stocks, Rob. Thank you.
Now,
for
it may have been,
being
in
poor.
fairness, somebody running an ad on his behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Though I don't know if Todd is actually spending his own money or taxpayer money or what, but yeah, they always call and thank me ads are just the worst.
All right, Q Finch, 1985. The Republican Party is MAGA now, I guess. That's insane. He lost.
Okay, so what do you think? Let's say it goes the way I think it's going to go. Look, I don't think there's going to be a bloodbath this fall in terms of, I don't think it's going to be 60 Democrats. It's not going to be Obama in 2010.
There won't be a wave.
But let's say the Democrats take back the House and the Senate. And I think the Republicans really need to wake up on the Senate stuff. Do people finally, are they like, okay, maybe this wasn't the best strategy of just doing whatever Trump wants with our candidates? Maybe we should have a little bit of independence.
Well, it
here.
comes down to the voters. And again, when you talk about MAGA, you've got a lot of loyal people out there. They're watching what's going on. All Trump has to do is beat the drum of, I'm going to get impeached if you don't vote for me. And I think the Trump supporters, I think this time they'll come through because they saw what happened, and he'll be impeached without question if the Dems win.
But if it doesn't,
win the House.
if they don't,
they'll come
win,
up with a reason.
If they don't win, if they lose the House and the Senate,
that would be devastating.
Well, but I'm saying the response. Don't we finally have to go back to, hey, maybe just picking people based on a revenge tour from one guy wasn't the best?
That's not going to change anything. I mean, you're still going to get a nutcases of whoever the next president is or the next. I mean, they're all the same people. They're all from the same.
But I don't remember this. Are we that? We're doing a victory lap over Massie, or people are, right? Obviously, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
What did the guy do that was so egregious?
What is it with Kentucky? Rand Paul,
Your family's
McConnell, my old man.
Yeah, your old man's from there, right?
He didn't run for office. I'm just saying. He got the hell out of there, too.
Yes, he did.
Okay, there we go. Thank God. Thanks, Dad. All right, continue on. Spray jockey, where are we at here? MLM Warriors. Sorry, Spray Jockey. I'm sure you'll be in here later on. MLM Warriors. Rob, put the video on YouTube talking about your illegal delivery driver yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't illegal.
No, I mean,
I'm sorry.
what do you call it? I mean, he did. If you drive into somebody's, I mean, you can't do that. It wasn't like they arrested him at the scene, though. They took the information and
I
then.
mean, his driving was illegal.
I mean. Like I said, my wife has it. I don't understand how any of this stuff works. I saw it on
trust me, he doesn't.
I saw it on a video screen. It was showed to me, and the guy. I mean, first of all, they're not supposed to be in the driveway, is my understanding.
Oh, is that right?
The delivery people are not supposed to be in the driveway.
He was not a professional delivery man.
I don't know the rules. That's just what I was told. The guy gets in my driveway. He gets out of his car. Mm-hmm. The car is still moving. He appears to be totally unaware that the car is moving. That? He starts walking towards the door while the car is moving behind him. Mm-hmm. You didn't hear it moving.
Well, thank goodness there were no children or.
That's the point, right?
Like yeah.
And then just bam, it was like some.
All right. Well, we're not going to spend a lot of time on that, but we'll continue on. Some people had some comments. You asked, have you ever had an issue like that? Joseph Smith, my wife ran into the house with my truck. She no longer is allowed to drive my truck. Steve Green with an E. Where I live, almost all my deliveries are bad if I get them at all. Robert Schwartz. I live out in Brown County. FedEx was always the worst. Had 2 packages delivered to different addresses. That happens all the time. We had one of our chairs was delivered across the street.
That's right.
Golf Tango X-Ray 70.
Golf Tango GTX 70. GTX 70.
There we go. Well, it says Golf Tango X-Ray 70.
Yeah.
My son drove into my garage door once, but since I was in the hospital and he was feeding my cattle for me, I couldn't complain. Yeah, probably can't. Okay, now we'll move on from that. Back to Massie. Mike Clemens. Massie's positions have changed since his wife died. I don't know what his positions were before that. Kevin Branham, can you imagine how much they'll spend in the fall talking about how much money went into the primaries?
Yeah.
Millions and millions of dollars went into the primary. Think how much it's going to go into. Maybe a little bit of that will trickle over our way.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're look at hey, look, who's the one senator that survived? Greg Good. Where'd he advertise? Right here.
And he used your clip, right? Used the clip on his
No, that was By.
Oh,
now Ballard.
Oh, Ballard. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We've been on both Buy and Ballard.
Oh, that was the
media.
free interview you gave him. That's
right.
why we shouldn't. I'm against free interviews. LD Stoltz for politicians. LD Stoltz definitely don't want our taxpayer-funded White House using the term FAFO. Need to be professional. Somebody had mentioned that they used that term about Massie.
Yeah, well, that's what
That's
the White House communications guy. That's what he said.
Come on, guys. Makes it hard to defend you. Bowden JM, television, radio, media going to appreciate all the November election commercials.
That's right.
Throw a few our way. C. Mills, Massie just needed to drop the Epstein thing. We'll never actually know what's really in it. If the Dems wanted it released, they could have as well.
And I love C. Mills, but what do you mean drop it? Like there were.
Well, look, I mean, what is in the Epstein files? Somebody could have sent in an anonymous letter or gave an anonymous thing. Rob Kendall was with Epstein on the island. Okay, that's in the file.
Right.
Now, it doesn't necessarily say right below that statement, we checked this out and it was a false statement. Somebody just does not like Rob Kendall. It's not like that. That page may be like a million pages later, right? So this is not a court of law where everything has been put in place and here is the sworn testimony. Most of this is not sworn testimony. It's just people have grievances, and that's, I think, what Trump was trying to say in the beginning and completely screwed up the message. I think that would have been the message to send because people just think, well, like all court cases and documents, these things are verified, it's under oath. That's not the case in all this stuff. So it's just, okay, Epstein was seen with Rob Kendall at X place. Okay. Nothing else is there about that other than you were seen with him. And, you know, so to me, it's like that's what makes it all, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Trump against Trump, where you think Biden's into all this stuff, it's just like that's the problem of it is just anybody could have said anything and it wasn't necessarily verified.
How is it possible, though? This guy clearly ran.
Oh, they did the whole thing wrong. I mean, whoever started this investigation years and years and years ago, guy should have been in prison way back then, and everything should have been. There should have been competent investigation, and I think that's the problem. I don't look at it as Trump's fault. I look at it as very incompetent intelligence agencies taking care of that. And who did he know? Who did he pay off? Who was on in the intelligence agency? Who was on Epstein's side, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, but it is Trump's fault because he ran on it.
Well, he did the message. Yeah, exactly, 100%. I'm not. Again, I'm done defending.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand why Massie gets crap over Epstein. It's like,
well, and why. I mean, again, with Biden, it's like, well, he could have released. Well, that's Trump now. Trump, he should have released it.
The Democrats don't want it. This is what I always say this on the radio show. Right. Democrats don't want it to come out either. They're not good guys in this. They're not like, oh, the Democrats really care about these women or who got sex trafficked.
The Dems know how to spin things to where people will just bite on it.
I mean, we've got a real problem. Okay, so look, we've got a real problem where I don't think we take the human sex trafficking thing very serious in this country. And I also don't think we take the abuse and the manipulation and the just horrible treatment of children serious in this country.
Well, that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Who's suffering right now? The children.
Right.
I mean, without sounding like a teacher, I mean, that's that is the worst part of all.
I mean,
this.
and it's the highest levels of government. I mean, not to bring this back home. Here's an example, and I know we've talked about this before. You have a mega pastor in central Indiana, in Nathan Peter now, who knew of Life Church, who knew the body cam footage shows when they raided his house, his son was a hyper dangerous child predator.
Right.
They told him what he was doing. They told his wife what he was doing. They let that guy back into the church where little kids were present.
Right.
Don't tell anyone. The lieutenant governor continues to stand behind that guy who did that. Like, clearly we're not.
Well, they're buddies, and that's why
that's my point, though. We're not. Nobody's taking this serious.
That's why you should go to a small church, not mega corporation churches. Just go to a small church with 50 people or whatever. I mean, that's you get better preaching at the smaller churches. Has always been my
opinion. His boss let this guy back into the church where little kids were present. They clearly hid it from the church. And Micah's like, no, Nathan's great. So, I mean, that's the number 2 guy in the state of Indiana. So it's all over the place. It's Republicans, it's Democrats. None of us are taking this to the level of seriousness we should.
I was waiting for you to spin that back around to where where we started. All right, Andy Engel. I'm a little surprised, changing the subject. I'm a little surprised that Rob has a garage. He seems more like a carport type, being so frugal.
It came with the house.
Came with the house, or he would not have had it. Sue Seifert. Some of the most bad people in history have been charismatic and mesmerizing. Trump is one of those. How can that spell be broken? He wouldn't be like this without so many going along with the sickness. But that's every president. Obama. I mean, that's people like to have a team. Somebody mentioned it's like team sports. My team is great. Your team sucks. It doesn't matter who's on my team, and if the guys from my team go to your team, well, then those guys suck. And there's just no rhyme or reason.
That's weird, isn't it?
Mike Clemens, is Massie an anti-Semite?
Well, Mike's the one who was always going after me on Twitter and stuff.
Okay.
So we're back to that. Where if you simply say, "Hey, Israel is Israel, and we're America, and I think we've done enough for Israel. Oh, and I'm not for an forever war. And if you're going to be there more than 60 days, as per the 1973 law, you got to come to us and declare war. Enough with the cutesy games about, well, there's a pause going on right now." No, I don't think that makes you an anti-Semite. I think that makes you like, my job is to be oversight on the executive branch when it comes to military engagement.
C. Mills points out Jason hitting the nail on the head. Thank you, C. Mills.
About what?
About the whole Epstein thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I should have mentioned that. And Callous Film, I think, a very good overall, just to wrap all the Epstein thing up, Dallas Film. Dems didn't release the files, which they should have. However, they didn't run on releasing the files. Kind of backs up what
that's
Rob said there.
My thing with Trump. It's like you ran on it when it was beneficial to you, and we have too many politicians.
Yeah, Bondi really just messed.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that was just the worst performance ever, and I was really kind of on Team Bondi there, hoping that the women would come through, and I think a lot of people were like, "Hey, that's potentially next president right there," and boy, she just blew that completely out of the water. All right, moving on. Charles Ludi. What Trump did to Boebert is cause for suspicion right there. Trump flexes his muscles when any office seeker opposes Trump things.
Yeah. The Boebert stuff to me is unbelievable because in her endorsement of Massie, she was like, Trump is great.
All right, Anna Butler, you are making it too simple about Massie. Maybe do some research. Plus, the Jews are the problem is tired. Listen to his concession speech. Trump released more Epstein files than any president. His concession speech.
Who said the Jews are the problem?
Maybe another radio. Well, probably maybe somebody in the chat. I'm not sure.
This is the thing. You can be critical of Israel, and it doesn't make you an anti-Semite.
I think the main point Anna Butler is pointing out is Trump has released more Epstein files than any other president. However, he said he would release all of them.
That's right.
So, all right. Robert Schwartz. Okay, well, about Indiana politics. Won't be any problem in Indiana as long as a candidate has an R by their name. They'll get the majority of the vote outside of the donut counties. See little changing there. Imagine the Diego thing.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because most people have no idea.
That's the thing, right? And I think that's why the Democrats...
we have diversity in the party.
Well, I think the Democrats are being smart, saying we're going after these 6 House seats. We think based on the district, the makeup, the vote count, we can get these 6. And if Bai can do anything for him at the top of the ticket, maybe they can pull that off.
Kevin Branham, that voice is so smooth.
Thank you. Oh, he's talking about you.
I'm sure he was talking about you, Rob. McLovins. Oh, Chuck. Let's see. Where's Chuck at? Charles. Here we go. Charles Ludi. Again, I purchased my live event show ticket last night.
Oh,
Can't
excellent.
Wait.
We're very excited to see you.
Charles will be at the event. McLovins, VIP or peasant seats, Chuck. See, now I got the Chuck thing going there. Chuck responds. Hi, Angela. Cheap seats.
Good.
I still expect a handshake from Rob, though.
We'll do our best.
So you got the whole meet and greet where you're Now, okay. So I thought about something I could probably do.
That's right. Yes.
I don't want to really roast Rob. We don't really have that type of, I don't know.
I mean, I would be fine with it.
Yeah, I know you would, but and it'd be funny and all that. But I mean, that's I don't know where to even start on that. So what I thought would be
so much.
But what I thought would be good, instead of me trying to come out and be a comedian, which I'm not at all, I thought it'd be good to do the chat at the show. And so the way we would do that, well, like when you and Hammer did the show, you did a great show. You guys did a great show. The one thing that kind of lacked, though, I think, was at one point Hammer's like, okay, let's take some questions.
Right.
And so everybody's throwing their hands up, and you get a bad question or, and there's a million good questions out there, right? And they can't get to everybody. A couple people like, well, I was way in the back, and nobody ever called on us way in the back. So I thought what would be good is at some point, maybe a week or two before the event, we'll open up an email and have anybody that has a ticket and wants to make a comment or a question for the show could send that in. It would give me time then to kind of organize them and put them into, like a format that makes sense, and, 10, 15 minutes or whatever. And so this would be cool because it'd be like, okay, Charles is going. Charles, give us a question. And then I could, okay, Charles Luty, where you at, Charles? Charles could stand up. Everybody then sees that's Charles.
Yeah.
So then future episodes of the chat, they relate Charles with Charles, right?
It's like a dating service.
So, Shrog Sandwich, the McLovins, if, the folks that are going to be there, we
That's
can
awesome.
Point them out. And so now make sure your question is one that you don't mind being recognized for, because I'm going to point you out or ask, where you at, type of thing. But I just thought that might work well. It would allow me to be organized. It would allow us to recognize the everybody there. It would give everybody a better chance, even the people in the cheap seats. I won't be going by that. So regardless of where you're sitting, and
that's great.
And then as far as the meet and greet, I could just stand at the exit and fist bump everybody.
So you're gonna
maybe go out and smoke with the smokers, or I don't smoke. Go hang with the smokers.
Into the there was no smoking at the venue.
Well, outside, there's always smoking outside.
So
not that I do, but smokers are a lot more social. Smokers are a lot of fun to hang out with because, they just stand there, got to do something, so they'll start talking and telling you all their deep, darkest
I've never
secrets.
seen you smoke.
I don't smoke.
Yeah, I've never seen you
I'm just
smoke.
not a smoker. Not a thing.
I've smoked a cigarette one time.
I'm surprised.
Did it for a girl.
What if she handed you a joint?
She wasn't that hot.
Okay.
She was hot enough to pretend with a cigarette.
Right.
Not for the drugs.
Okay. All right. So hopefully we'll find out if that maybe let me know what you think, guys, if that would be an acceptable way for me to be a part of.
I didn't even know what
show.
to do with it. Like I had to act like I knew what to do with it.
With the cigarette?
With the cigarette.
Oh, that's always a first time thing. Yeah.
I was like,
should I inhale?
And then I was like, and maybe somebody could explain this to me. Like, what if you are a smoker?
Mm-hmm.
What do you get? Like, what do you get out of it other than? Like if you're addicted to the nicotine or whatever, like what do you get out of it?
That's just, I don't mean this to be mean. It's like, okay, a baby has a pacifier. It's something, and I don't mean that to be mean. Everybody fiddles with stuff. People will sit here and click pins and things like that. So I don't mean it in a bad way, but I think that was just their way because it's like, I'm stressed, I got to have a cigarette.
Right.
Well, obviously, it's not just a recreational thing. It's something that.
This was like a long time ago. And I was like, as long as it takes me to smoke this cigarette, she will sit out here and talk to me. So I got to milk this thing for everything it's worth. I think I got like 30 minutes out of it. Is that pretty good?
That's not bad. She was probably laughing at the fact that you were not a smoker.
I would never do that now, but in your 20s, you're dumb.
Right. McLovins, haven't gotten my ticket yet. I'll need a ride with someone. I don't drive at night.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's got to help McLovins out.
Yeah. Well, we need to find out what side of town you're on, all that good stuff. And, where you at? And I think we can make that happen. Robert Schwartz. Okay. So, is this why we have Braun, Beckwith, Rokita, Banks, Morales? Guess that is who Indiana is.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the case of Diego and Micah and Rokita, those guys, to their credit, they cracked the code, which is I just got to win at the convention. These guys figured out how to win at a convention. In the case of Banks, you saw a guy, and this is what's so frustrating about Banks. Banks was really strong until he went for party leadership in 22, or 20, would have been winner of 23. Republicans win the House in 22. I think, was it whip? Was it whip he went for? I can't remember which the position it was. He got beat. And then when he got beat, it was like a switch flipped in him where he was like, well, I'm not just going to sit in this house and be a rank and file. I got to change the way I'm doing business.
Right. And
then he immediately pivoted to, I'm going to run for Senate. And he started kissing the ring finger of McCarthy and those guys. And then, look, That's what's frustrating. It's like when you see guys, it's Marlon Stutzman's the same way. When you see guys who did do things the right way, and it's like, damn, you guys needed the power that like you guys were good. And so these guys, and remember Banks? Crazy thing about Banks is Mitch Daniels was like thinking about running for Senate. He was not saying I'm running. He's not like, I'm going to run, nothing. And they started preemptively like running ads against Mitch Daniels. And I was like, damn, you guys are mean. Like, he's not even running. And he was like, they made him out to be like AOC or something. I was like, geez, y'all really need that office. That's not good.
Vic Ferrari, I knew it. Jason is a hellfire and brimstone guy. I don't know what that means. Okay. Shrog sandwich. Jason got me thinking, what would be in a shrog sandwich? Might take him up on the loose meat suggestion. Makes sense. Maybe bring a shrog sandwich to the show. There we go. Somebody ought to open up a restaurant.
Jason, I made you a shrog sandwich.
Yeah. Sounds tasty. The old man, in my opinion, Obama won the first term because of white guilt. And he won the second term because the Republicans ran a big loser of a candidate. Who was this? McCain?
McCain was the first time.
Who was the second?
Romney.
Oh, Romney. Oh, yeah. Two losers. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a dark period for the party.
That was. And we supported those guys, too. How embarrassing. Kelly Ingle. I turned against Massie long before Trump did. If you're paying attention, then you know, and don't have to be told by Trump. Massie voted with Dems on many important policies.
Like what? And why?
Massie. Okay, Ethan Hatcher will explain, Rob.
Oh.
Okay. Massie voted with Trump. Okay, no, I guess he's going against. Okay, here we go. Massie voted with Trump and Republicans 90% of the time. He didn't support the war in Iran. He didn't support the big bullshit bill and a few other things. So Ethan, I guess, would be pushing back a little bit.
Well, this is the crazy thing. Like, I have seen multiple people post on social media. One guy figured out he was full of crap and he deleted it. But, like, Massie voted to impeach Trump. I can't believe you would support some guy. No, he didn't. He voted against the impeachment both times. But in these people's minds, he voted to impeach Trump. Well, where would you get that? That's coming clearly from the internet. People just making things up. And so it's like, how much of the stuff against Massie, people don't like him, it's just made up. I mean, I saw that multiple times from people. The one guy figured it out quick and deleted it. But then the other guy, I was like, no, like, here's the...
Don't believe anything you hear on the internet.
That's right, except this show.
Hoosier proud. Massie was voting for his people he represented and not Trump. Sounds like a guy you would want to represent you, in my opinion. 2020 showed me who Trump is.
And the big concern is Rand Paul's going to be next. They're going to come after Rand Paul next.
Kelly Ingle. Apparently, he didn't vote for his people, or they wouldn't have voted him out. Okay.
So
tit for tat right there.
That was the conversation earlier, which is the primary Republican primary voter. And look, if you don't vote, that's on you. It seems like they're on this train that is not aligning with the much bigger, larger general election train. Maybe I'll be proven completely wrong. Maybe they'll win all the seats and it'll be like, well, you blew that one, Rob. Who knows?
Possibility. Jim Tennecore. Does Trump see the polls, or does his people tell him they're good, or does he think they're fake news?
I wondered that about Braun, too. I've asked him, like, do they show Grandpa how much people hate him, or do they tell him he's doing a great job? Or, like, I wonder, do they there's no, Trump sees everything. There's no way he doesn't see him. There's no way. He sees everything.
Beth R., 6158. Trump is better than Kamala or AOC. Gettle's guns. Amen to that, Beth. Charles Ludy. I don't think anyone disagrees about that, Beth. Robert Schwartz. Don't know about the others, but I'm tired of the lesser of two evils crap. I'd like to see better candidates that represent the constituents regardless of what party they belong to. Could go along with that. Beth R. Trump needs to do something about all the fraud in Minneapolis, California, etc. Revealing it and doing something about it are two different things that would drive down the debt significantly. All right. I think they're quietly focusing on Minneapolis. Charles Ludy, excellent segment and analysis, Rob. That would have been, I'm not sure which.
All of them?
All of them were awesome. Mad Duck. It's that. Okay, Mad Duck. If that's winning, I don't want to see losing. Kevin Branham. Oh, talking about Rob was calm all throughout the segment. That was the Diego segment, I think, that they were referring to. Bowden JM, ugh, can't believe I was happy to get $4.06 gas.
Hey,
Seriously, let's get the Strait of Hormuz opened.
Let me go back to Diego for a second.
Sure.
I don't care whether he gets out of that convention or not. Either way, I win. If they get rid of him, he's done, and then we're done with him. So that's a win. If they keep him, it's the best thing for our show.
Right.
I mean, we're going to get 5 months. And it's, as I laid out in the Indy Star, for my desire, which is the Republicans to finally start representing the people and listening to conservatives and governing. They need to start losing some elections so that they'll value the vote. I think the best way for that to happen is Diego to be on the ballot. I think Diego loses in the fall anyway. So, look.
Michael Knowles asks, how much does his actual chief of staff make?
I don't know. I don't know if he's done some restructuring. I'll look it up. I don't know if Jerry Bonnet is technically the chief of staff. I'll look that up. I'll try to find that for you guys tomorrow. By the way, we're going to wrap up here in just a minute because we got State House Happenings. We got a tape here in a little bit. And Abdul and I, so that'll be posted tomorrow morning, by the way. State House Happenings will be up. And we're going to do a deep dive on the Diego stuff and this woman, and that's going to take up a big portion of State House Happenings. And Abdul will actually be with us tomorrow to tell the latest on everything that he's learned about all of this.
Oh, Shrog Sandwich asked if you go to the what were you going to go to? What function was that? The state convention, state convention. State convention. She asked if she could come and live paint the Tippy Toe Diego.
Oh, that would be a question for the state party. Look, here is my deal when I go to these events. I don't raise any trouble. I'm a guest at their event, and they have let me go to the last couple ones, and everyone's been very well behaved. And I do talk to people. My rule on that is if people come up and talk to me, I'll give it right back. I'll give it right back to them or converse with them happily or whatever.
Because what she wants to capture is the stupid look on Diego's face when confronted with facts from my friend Rob.
Yeah, I don't think I will see Diego at the convention. He will probably be on the floor where I will not be allowed. I have to stay up in a media perch somewhere.
Oh.
And I obey all applicable rules and regulations. And do you think they will let me go cover the event, or you think they hate me enough they'll ban me?
Well, who makes the decision
State party.
on because would it be for a press pass?
Yeah,
or,
it would be as a member of the media. I mean, I would be there covering the event. So,
okay. Well,
I mean, why? Well, it's not like I have some record of felonious behavior or something that would cause them to be any concern of having me there. Other than they're just like, we hate that guy, we don't want him there.
Right. All right, so we'll leave it with Debbie Holcomb, who says live show, 38 days. 9 hours, 23 minutes.
Yes, we're going to rock your socks off. We love Debbie.
There we go. All right, that's going to do it for the chat. I'll let you close things out, Rob. And chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. That'll do it for me. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
Hey, guys, if you've got a masonry mismatch or previous repair catching your eye, if you're not happy with the brick color in your home and ready for a total makeover, Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry standing and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, you want to build something new, Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY. Beauty built to endure. The original sponsor of the Rob Kendall Show. They've been with us for years, and we love it feels like years, for months now, since the beginning, and we love those guys. Thanks to all of our sponsors, every single one of them that support us and make this show possible. Please support people who support the business. What? 212 likes. You guys are awesome. Great job. Thank you. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We're going to get this set ready to go for State House Happenings. For producer Jason, you guys are the best. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. We've been watching State House Happenings.